You are now entering a dangerous liberty zone where God-given natural rights are held sacred and exercised. This is your warning. Tyranny, fascism, and censorship will not be tolerated. Ideas will be exchanged freely. Rigorous debate and open discourse is encouraged. If you are weak and your beliefs are fragile, you should leave now. Prepare yourself. We are now live on the Dangerous Liberty Podcast. What is happening, folks? Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Dangerous Liberty Podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe. If you want to support us, down in the description below is a link. You can become a member, and we would love for you to do that. I want to say hi to, man, we have had a busy day on X, among other things, and we have got a lot to cover. Hopefully, we'll get Lady Luck in the house. I see that there she is. There she is. I see her coming in. Here she is. Here she is.
Yay!
I've been looking forward to this all day. Can you all hear me?
Yeah,
God, won't he do it? How you doing? Hi, Gary.
Well, hello, Lady Luck. How have you been?
I'm doing well. How are you all? Y'all hear me?
You know what? We can hear you great. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
We're doing great.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Here.
I got fun. Hi, Gary.
We're doing fine. We're just over here snapping necks, cashing checks. Just another Thursday. That's what we do over here.
That's how it goes, honey. How you doing, Jen, the producer? How you doing, honey? We can't forget about our producer.
Doing
how you doing?
Great, Miss Lady Luck in the house. This has been 2 months in the making.
I know. I'm so excited. I have been looking forward to this all week. You guys had one of my fantastic mods, Shannon, the S-Files, on yesterday. And
Yes.
I'm just so proud of her. I'm just proud of all of you all. And we're keeping our foot on Candace's neck. We're coming for today. I'm ready.
That's right. That's right. We got, we had the show plan kind of, tentatively what we're going to talk about, but so much has happened today. I'm going to go through a quick timeline, and we will just talk about that, and then we will get to whatever else is left over. But I do want to say hi to everybody over in the chat, and I see she linked it, so we are dual streaming, which is awesome.
Yes.
And I just want to say hi to all the Lady Luck Club folks out there. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for supporting the truth teller that is Lady Luck. I appreciate you guys, and of course, all of our folks over in the chat. We got a bunch of them over there. We have
it. Shout out to the Lady Luck Club and LLC with Sweet Tea. How y'all doing, babies? How y'all doing? Shout out to all of you all. I'm so happy to be here. I see y'all over there.
Pasto, we got Mackenzie Moore, Lace, Lynn. It's always good to see you. How's the weather up in Michigan? Odorized Ramblings, and so many more obscure mods. Thank you guys for everything that you do.
Shout out to the mods. I appreciate you all. I see them up in there. Shout out to all the mods. Gary.
So before we get started, Lady Luck, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you're about, how you got started in this wild game of social media, and we'll take it from there.
Well, I've been at this going on 7 years. I have 2 channels. I started out doing music reactions. God bless that allowed it to grow within a relatively short time frame. And then I had to, of course, take a little break. I have 2 boys here down in Georgia. So, of course, my kids always come first. I do have a regular job during the day. So, of course, that can tend to take up a lot of time, but started diving more into doing what I consider myself to be an independent journalist. And so kicked it off with a huge crypto scammer. She called herself a Reverend. Oh, Lord. It was with Novatech, Cynthia Petion. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but she was charged by the SEC. She's under FBI investigation. So that started, kind of my independent journalism and doing research into scammers. And it just kind of dived into that, and then started focusing on one of the former mayors up in Dalton. She became, widely known for all the wrong reasons, Tiffany Henyard. And then from there, we're able to, branch out and meet a lot of fantastic content creators. I do believe you and I both know Jay Witt, my brother in Christ.
Oh, yeah.
My Morehouse brother as well. So shout out to Jay Witt. And, just being blessed to have come across so many other content creators that helped to create this community that we have. And then, of course, when I first started listening to Candace, I think was when Charlie Kirk, lost his life. I actually was watching another content creator's live stream when he got the news in real time, and then I got the email, and then I was like, "What is going on?" And I think the crazy part about this is that it was on national television. It was a full assassination, and it's something that many of us have never witnessed in our lifetime, and for that to happen, in front of a crowd of college kids and small children, just people who were excited, to go out and enjoy the spirit of debate, and enjoy the spirit of having conversation and exercising the First Amendment rights that we all have here in the U.S. and free speech. And then, to see that happen out of nowhere was absolutely mind-boggling. So my approach to that was to go from an anatomical angle. I think the first videos I did on it was more so focused on the actual bullet and the impact, the entry of the womb itself. And then when Candace dropped her so-called dedication video, which is absolutely garbage at this point, that's when she started putting herself out there, I guess, as the gatekeeper of everything, and trying to purport herself as the best friend. And then that's when I started diving.
She's the only one there. She's the only one that loved them. She's the only one.
It's like it's no one but me. It's just me, and me. And it's just kind of like, okay, well, if you're gonna sit here and say that you're his closest friend and you're like a sister and all this other stuff, let's see where this goes. And then we started watching her shows, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, girl, you're lying like hell is hot. Like, stop it. I didn't even have to be a huge follower of him to know that she was lying about basic things that you can research and Google online and see, and debunk in real time. And it was like, what? Why is she doing this? Man is dead. He got 2 kids. One day they got to grow up and watch these videos. Why is she doing all of this? So, that's what, at the end of the day, for me, it comes down to that. I focus on those kids. Those kids can't help, her kids or Erica Kirk's kids. They're small children. Yeah. They're minors. At some point, they're going to watch these videos. They're going to see these posts. They're going to see all this stuff. And they're going to wonder, Mommy, what's going on? Who's this crazy lady keep talking about our dad? And how do you explain her to Erica Kirk and Charlie's kids? How do you explain a Candace Owens to them? And especially with all that she's been saying and doing.
Yeah.
She doesn't care about those kids. And she doesn't care about the impression that is left behind with them. And so, from there, I feel very good. I lose no sleep at night, Candace, keeping my foot on your neck, Heifer. I lose no sleep about that. So here we are, and so my second channel is going to be dedicated to more true crime, because I do enjoy true crime. And I enjoy, looking at things from a legal perspective. I'm not an attorney, but I do enjoy looking at things from that legal angle. My godmother is a retired federal judge. So that kind of passion and drive in law was, fired up in me because, one thing she always taught me is that she who knows the law has the power. And so you empower yourself by having that education and understanding your rights. And so I think that is one thing that I can say I admired about Charlie Kirk, is his willingness to go over and beyond to exercise the First Amendment. And that is something that we have the right to do. And to now hear Candace saying that she's going to be doxing people because of that is disturbing to my soul. So, Candace, I'm going to go in on you, girl. You got to comment.
I mean, you touched on so many things, and I think you kind of summarized what we've seen in the last 8.5 months now pretty well. Yeah. We forget about the actual human toll, and the empathy and sympathy that we should have for everybody involved in this that are close to Charlie Kirk, his wife, his kids, never mind like Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, all these people that were around, all the people that he worked with all the time, his producers, his camera people, his sound people. I just wonder, and I don't think about this about Candace, but the people that participate in all this, what if you're wrong? You don't think about that at all? What if they had nothing to do with it? Because they didn't. We know they didn't have anything to do with it. I think it's very clear at this point. But your conscience doesn't bug you at all, that maybe
Right.
you're accusing these people of murder and these people are hurting and traumatized and just trying to make it. Now they have, on top of that, they have the whole world coming after them and threatening them. And you're right. Candace doesn't care about Erica Kirk or those kids.
Not at all.
But she's putting them in danger all the time. And we're going to see additional proof of that. Some other things came out today with that. But it is wild to watch. And let me tell you something. I feel like if this doesn't assault your conscience of what's happening, I think you need to pray. I think you need to get right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, if you're not offended by what is taking place from I don't even care if you're religious, from just an American standpoint, if you are a liberal Democrat and you still believe in the rule of law and some of the basic principles in which this country was founded, like, you know, innocent until proven guilty, this should offend this should offend your very core, but it doesn't.
Exactly.
People are
it doesn't. And she's such a narcissist, you know, having reported on people like her that have this trait, this narcissistic personality profile. She's not the first. And I see women like her coming a mile away, just people like her in general coming a mile away. You see this in cult leaders. You see this in people who, you know, perpetuate these grand scams and schemes. You know, like I was referred to the first person that I did full research on, Cynthia Petion. She called herself a reverend. She was never ordained. She was not a minister. She calls herself Reverend CEO Cynthia Petion. And she reminds me so much of Candace Owens. And the narcissism in them does not allow them to feel the concept or even exhume the concept of empathy or hypocrisy. So they will lie in your face. They will not feel anything about it. And they cannot put themselves in anyone else's shoes. They will never feel sorrow or remorse. They will never feel apologetic. They will never feel any level of conviction. Because if the goal is, I want to set myself up to the front of the stage to get all the views, all the attention, all the accolades. I want everybody coming through me. I want to be the gatekeeper of everything Charlie Kirk. You know, everybody is pretty much competition for her at this point. Yeah. Erica Kirk especially, because she was the wife, right? Now she's the CEO. Everyone else is competition. Everyone else is a hill to climb over and to overcome. She doesn't like her idea of, I don't, you know, am I ruining these people's reputation? That doesn't bother her. Like it's only going to affect her when you put her in a position where she has no power, and that place being the court of law. So the only way to get her attention is to sue her. That's it. You end up, and there's nothing wrong with that. I say this all the time as a Christian. Jesus walked this earth for over 30 years. He was not a punk.
Yeah.
He didn't let anybody take advantage of him or walk all over him. Even when he cast out demons, they did not linger. They fled and then they moved on. So it is not cowardly to say, even as a Christian, yeah, I'm going to have to seek some level of justice in a court of law against her. Because if you don't, what you end up doing is weaponizing this narcissism to become even more emboldened to believe that now, if you report on her, she's going to dox you. Funny how she won't go to Russia and do that to those Russian civilians over there. She feels emboldened to do that to us and thinks that she'll get away with it. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, she looks at weakness as she looks at kindness as weakness. And you're right. There's a correct, ethical, and Christian way to go about these things. And Erica Kirk has bent over backwards and done that and then some. She met with her face to face. She gave her plenty of opportunity to ask all the questions that she wanted, and she did. She did for 4 hours. And what's crazy to me, you know, that whole thing started with Blake Neff and Andrew Colvett on the Charlie Kirk show saying, "Hey, you know what? We're going to debunk you, Candace, and you're welcome to come on." And then what did she say? Any place, anytime. Said, okay, next Tuesday or whatever they said it was going to be. And then she came up with all these excuses that she was under death threats from the cartel because of the Mitch.
George said no, and he got a birthday, and these people coming over from over the country, and Andrew Tate. Now it's all these dumb reasons she came up with this. Like, girl, it's going to be televised and recorded. That's what you should want. You should want that conversation recorded. Now look what's happening. She gets to come out and say whatever, and there's no record to show proof of what was actually discussed in that 4.5-hour conversation that all of a sudden she made time for. But Candace is a coward. And so she knows that conversation was probably a complete 180 from the way she presents it. In the context of it, probably was nowhere near what most people think it was. I believe it was a matter of, we're intentionally correcting the record, because if we need to take you to court, we're going to prove malice. And that's the bottom line, because that's the only reason I could even see Erica Kirk wasting her time going out there, knowing that it was still going to come down to Candace coming out and saying some nonsense and still lying, because that's what ended up happening. But knowing people like her, I said it before anything. I said it way back in October. Candace is a narcissist. She's going to lie for the sake of lying. So giving her the benefit of the doubt is a moot. It's futile. It's no point in doing that. You have to sue her. You want to prove a point to her, take her to court. And then you see a totally different side of her. And it's the side that hopefully, I have done every single lawsuit she's been involved in, because you get to see that profile. You get to see what she's like when it comes down to her being scrutinized under the law, where she has no power, nor does she have any knowledge of the law. So you get to see the real side of her. And what you end up seeing is someone that runs away from it all. She's a coward.
Yeah. It's just like she was on Tucker Carlson talking about, I can't wait for this Macron lawsuit. Discovery's going to be so awesome.
I know.
I think we're on our third attempted dismissal, at least.
I know, right? Go to court, Candace.
We'll see what happens.
Running from this.
Real quick, we're going to take a quick detour, because there's a couple things that I want to talk about, and I would like
to
as well. So earlier today, I had Ian Carroll up in my comments talking smack, so I decided to hit back.
Lord.
And I said,
is that the one I keep confusing I keep confusing him for a woman? LLC, remind me, is that a guy? He's a guy, right?
Ian Carroll is a guy.
Ian Carroll, I don't care how you feel at all. You don't pay my bills.
There's probably women with more testosterone than Ian Carroll, but he is a guy, allegedly. So I hit him back. I said, are you going to correct the record, Ian Carroll show? The New York Post published a specific photo of the bolt action rifle recovered near the scene. It's not a generic stock photo. He's been pushing this for a really long time. And the idea behind this, that this being a stock photo, which we've proven time and time again that it's not, is they want to be able to say that they planted some evidence. Well, as soon as I posted that, we had old Baron Conman Coleman up in there, and he said, is that safety all the way to the right in the New York Post photo? Could that safety be switched back to the left with that optic setup? Safety all the way to the right disables the bolt and trigger. Safety has to rotate over the top to get back to the left to open, bolt, or activate trigger. And he is correct. And you'll see right here, this isn't even a standard one. He actually doesn't even know what he's posting. This is actually a modified trigger on the right here. And this trigger right here is now in the fire position. He doesn't know that because he doesn't know what type of safety it is. But let me show you what we got here. What he did was just prove me right once more, because he's an idiot. He said, the photo actually proves, given the safety lever is rotated below the 90-degree mark, is that Mauser has a modified low-profile safety, most likely a Bueller or Dayton-style conversion, though there have been many aftermarket options over the years. Good catch, Baron Coleman. You're doing solid work, exposing how ignorant and dishonest your side is, further substantiating Tyler Robinson's guilt and validating and the validity of the evidence. Well, I want to get close up to this. Here we have the original photo. All right, so this is the photo that we got from New York Post. The bolt action rifle recovered near the scene of where Charlie Kirk was shot, obtained by the New York Post. And we can see this profile right here. You guys see that little line that's well below the 90-degree mark if we were looking at the action from the rear. So that right there, we have that safety clearly rotated past 90 degrees. This is a Mauser that I have right there on the back wall, by the way, right there. All right, so this is the standard flag safety. This is what they're known for. And yes, to get it into the fire position, you have to rotate this 180 degrees. And if you had a low-mounted scope, that would get in the way of it. Well, there's plenty of solutions for this. And you can see here, if we look at it from the side, we can see this profile of this action And we can see this profile of this action. It doesn't look the same. That's the safety right there, bottom half of that circle. And you can see this one right here in about the upper third of this. And this is what a Bueller style action looks like, safety lever. And this is what this looks like. So we can clearly see this is rotated far below. And the way these safeties work, instead of having to rotate 180 degrees, they only need to rotate 70 degrees, and they rotate upward. And you can see that these are right here. So this is the Dayton low safety, and this is the Bueller style safety. And this looks exactly like what we see right here. And there's many different variants of this. But this is a Bueller safety. And again, we just have Baron Coleman showing how ignorant he is. And he's not even good at law. I don't know why he's talking about gun stuff.
Poor thing. He just wants to be involved.
Now, this is a post. Here we go. Let's go up here to see this one. If I can get this thing to, there we go. I posted this up the other day. And I talked to Ryan Morrow, by the way, and I'll show you a post from him in just a minute. I said, Candace Owens, a foreign agent. Candace Owens is heading to Russia next week, despite the U.S. Department of State's level 4 do not travel advisory due to terrorism, wrongful detention, and unrest. Why would she put herself and her family at such risk? What is so urgent to travel to Russia now? There's a very limited number of answers to those questions, and none of them are good. There's zero chance she's traveling there without the knowledge of the Kremlin. She has been using the Charlie Kirk investigation to subvert the Trump administration for 8 months now. Between Russia media, RT, promoting her, and this visit, it's abundantly clear she's collaborating with Russia against her own country. And of course, Candace was silly enough to respond. This dude is so slow. Honestly, it hurts. There is zero chance you're traveling without the knowledge of the Kremlin. Good job, Einstein. Visas are, in fact, required to travel to Russia. Well, Candace, it's not the Kremlin. That's like saying the White House issues.
What the visas? They don't issue visas.
It's the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Candace. I'll be happy.
She's so stupid. She's so stupid.
Just remember, folks, this is the woman.
Oh my God.
She can't pronounce like 80% of words correctly. But this is also the woman that couldn't figure out why ice wasn't melting at 30 degrees.
Candace, you're an idiot. And I want you to know that. Say with love.
She also didn't remember or didn't know that thunder is produced by lightning.
Oh, that girl in the woods, and she ain't gonna make it. It's the stupidity for me, Candace. Oh, good God. You know what? I want her to go to Russia and stay over there. Don't come back. Just leave the kids with the grandmother. You, George, go to Russia. Don't come back, because somehow you think that's a family vacation spot. Girl, bye. Bye, Felicia.
It's not a family vacation spot. And Ryan Morrow, not long after I posted this, and I just got off the phone with him right before I jumped on here. I was trying to get him on tonight. He couldn't make it tonight, but we're probably going to do a show tomorrow. But Ryan Morrow, who I have on the show before, I gave him a call about this particular, what he's been researching on this. And come to find out, Candace Owens did not tell you the real reason she's going to Russia. Candace will be joining Putin, Dugin, and many Russian government intel and propaganda operatives as speaker at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum.
What?
She said she might meet Dugin due to Zionist lore about him, as if her critics making the meeting happen. The truth, Dugin was already scheduled as a speaker at the same event as her. So here we go. This is her, her placard. She's going to be speaking there. This is Dugin's. And this is something that I've been saying for a long time, and many others have said, and this is additional confirmation. And there's a lot more behind this that Ryan shared with me, and you can go to his page and check it out. Matter of fact, I want to see how long this clip is. We might just, it's 2 minutes. 50.
Yeah, go ahead. I got time.
Especially because of unfiltered. A 2025 YouGov study found that 22% of liberals under the age of 44 say that it's okay to feel happy when a political opponent dies. Now, the whole world watched Charlie's final moments. Do you think this generation is just being completely desensitized to brutal killings, especially because of unfiltered social media access?
I don't think that they're desensitized to it. I think they're attracted to it. And I think it's by design, partially because it's a profit model, but also because adversaries of the United States want this filth to be in our society. I mean, there's a Russian intelligence operative who runs influence campaigns. His name is Alexander Dugin, who is sanctioned by the U.S. government because of his influence operations, who has said that his strategy is to stir up hatred and discord within the United States, so that if you have a disagreement with someone, that's the type of hateful sentiment that follows. You can't just have a disagreement. No, it always has to be war, war, war. And so that America starts to rip itself apart. And guess what? That Russian intelligence agent interacts with Candace Owens. And Candace Owens also has another advisor and close friend, John Mappin, who is closely associated with Alexander Dugin, that Russian intelligence operative. And he's also connected to the Church of Scientology. Yep. That's weird when you have those types of influences in your immediate social circle. And by the way, Russian state media, Iranian and Chinese state media as well, propaganda operatives, all amplify her and these conspiracy theories. So they have decided that the way to hurt America is to hurt Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA. And the best way to do that is to help Candace Owens.
Wow.
Do you think that the country, though, so many people follow her and Tucker, and they're just going off the rails? Do you think people will wake up to this if they knew more of the truth?
If we keep hammering these points that I'm making every single day, eventually they have to. We have to break through the algorithm. By the way, Alexander Dugin, the Russian intel operative that I mentioned before that interacts with Candace Owens, Tucker interviewed him. He's also promoted by Alex Jones as like an authoritative foreign policy voice. There is a much more insidious thing going on than just personal resentment on the part of Candace Owens. And by the way, I forgot to mention, Candace has actually endorsed the Putin-style form of government. Tucker has endorsed the feudal system. So I don't know how they can go around claiming to be.
So
you can't make this up.
You can't make it up. And you know, this is what I've been saying from the beginning of this, and I recognized it early on, and that is, folks, I'm telling you, when you have a message like Candace Owens and what she's doing and the impacts that it has nationally and especially amongst the conservative party, there is zero chance that these outside influences, whether they be foreign adversaries, and you named a lot of them, or political adversaries, the George Soros types, the Neville Roy Singhams types, these people are going to pay millions of dollars to boost her voice. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing bots. We're seeing sock puppet accounts. We're seeing her get a signal boost while everybody else is getting either attacked or suppressed. That's what's going on. And it's very obvious. I'm sure you've seen it in your comments too, right?
Yeah, I have. Oh, honey, the candy asses. Oh, I hate the cussing you thing, but that's what I call them. The candy asses. They come in, and I told them, you enter my chat at your own peril. So when I clap back, I don't spare them. I mean, most of it is bots, and they copy and paste straight from her transcript in her videos. So if you go to the transcript of a video she's done, you will see copy pasted comments in the live stream chat or in the comment section of your video. It'll be straight out copy paste. Most times they won't even add punctuations. They won't capitalize. They won't do a spell check. You know why I call her Candace? Because that's what the bots spell it as. I've gotten a Candace, a Condance, Condoleezza, a Karen, Candance. We get variations of her name from her bots because they're not really there to be smart AI. They're just there to push the narrative. And if it's just copy and paste and 5 or 6 good statements on repeat, that's all they're programmed and designed to do. That's what they're going to do. So they don't care. They don't even spell check her first name. They don't spell check. So these are bots. I've seen bots from all over the world. Like I've gotten bots from India sending me comments, calling me all kinds of things. So her bots mean, they're like peas and carrots to me. But that goes to show you this narrative that they're pushing out. And I even said, and I'm apolitical. I just, I don't believe God is going to be asking us on Judgment Day who you voted for. But it is very clear and obvious to see who's following Candace at this point. And it's not what you consider to be conservatives, Republicans, Trump supporters who are genuine and authentic.
Or Christians.
No, you have or Christians. You have this complete opposite. It's been a complete 180 switch of what's pushing behind her. These are people who never cared for Charlie Kirk or Erica Kirk or TPUSA or Donald Trump or the United States of America or our First Amendment. They don't care about any of that. And for her to say I don't know if you remember an episode where she actually said, I should just move to Russia. Right? I just wish I was Russian. I would rather be Russian than American. She said that in a whole episode. And I was like, bye, Felicia. Then go over there and don't come back. As a matter of fact, why don't you just go ahead and go declare, whatever citizenship of Russia you want to claim and pack up and move when you're moving so we can help you pack up. Just go over there, don't come back. Like, we don't care. Bye. But don't come back over here trying to do damage. And then get upset when someone calls you or refers to you as a domestic terrorist. What do you think you're doing? You're terrorizing American citizens for exercising First Amendment rights and free speech. Yeah. And by threatening to commit cyber crimes and cyber dox people. Are you kidding? No, it's time for people to start suing her left and right. The exact same thing that would happen over there in Russia if she tried that stunt over there should be what she fears from the United States of America. But she doesn't care. She doesn't care about what's going on in our country. She doesn't even talk about things that happen in the U.S. It's as if the U.S. is not even focused.
She's going to go over to Russia, trash the U.S., trash Donald Trump. And that is something that she would never get away with if she was Russian doing it in Russia. She would be in the gulag. Her family would be in jail. She might be tortured or killed. But yet she's going to go over there and exercise the freedoms that that our system affords her in a country that does not afford its own citizens. Its own
citizens, exactly. Yep.
And speaking of doxing and speaking of the rhetoric that we have today, we have a Texas man accused of threatening to kill Erica Kirk in a bomb a Turning Point USA event that has been charged with third-degree felony count for making a terroristic threat. We have Jacob Winsky. Guaranteed. Matter of fact, we should look him up on X. Guaranteed guy is a Candace fan. He is part of the cult. Yep. He has a letter. I'll pull up that letter in just a few minutes. But I mean, this.
Wow.
This is what Erica Kirk is dealing with, and then you have somebody like Candace that has the audacity to sit there and laugh at her and pretend that the threats that she has aren't credible against her. Her husband was killed. And you're going to sit there and say that she doesn't have credible threats? Like, clearly somebody wanted to kill Charlie Kirk. She's still this is the wild thing.
This is
everything that Charlie represented, she still represents. But on top of that, they're saying that she's also so evil that she killed her own husband. That's what is on top of already the threat that Charlie was to the world.
This is, what's so crazy, if I could say something right quick. Erica Kirk, I hope you're listening. I have said for the last 6 months, you need to file a protection order against Candace Owens. You don't owe her anything. You don't owe her niceties. You don't owe her the benefit of the doubt. This woman has openly confessed to having direct contacts and sources living in your residential building. That is stalking. And in the state of Arizona, that is a class 3 or 5 felony, not a misdemeanor, a felony. You would not have a difficult time at this juncture getting an actual protection order against Candace Owens, the dum-dum who wants you dead. This is just the reality of the situation. You are a mother with 2 children. You've already lost your husband. There is no time to play around with this to see what she's going to say or do next. You don't owe her that. Go file for a protection order against her. And then if Candace Owens decides to knuck if she bucks, they will lock her up. And no one will care. Because that's probably where she belongs for a little while, just to clear her head. Not that it's going to change anything, but she'll learn to leave you alone. Or at least get an injunction for harassment. Because this is getting to a point where it is becoming extraordinarily dangerous. And your minor kids are at your mercy. So protecting them means getting a protection order against Candace Owens, who is admitted to committing a felony and stalking you. Then do it. We have eyes and ears everywhere. We're always listening and watching. Who is we? But what about the people living in the building? Those so-called sources and contacts. See, that protection order is going to make sure that they get put in check as well. So if they decide to knuck if you buck, then they get locked up too. Have them all listed in that protection order. You owe no one nothing. And if you need to move, go to a safe haven, please do it. Because at the end of the day, your protection is what matters. And you have these babies. They didn't ask for any of this and they don't deserve it. Because Candace's 4 kids does not have to ask Candace, Mommy, when is Daddy coming home? They get to see him. He's still alive.
Yeah.
So stop. Don't put that past. Don't give her any more benefit of the doubt. Take that righteous anger God is giving you and go get a protection order. And you can get an emergency protection order. You could get one done in the next 24 to 48 hours because this is getting out of hand. I know I would. Candace, knuck if you buck. We're not playing over here. Okay, I'm done.
No, that's good.
This is crazy.
That's good. So for people missing it, we also have, and speaking of Erica Kirk, we also have Project Constitution. Erica Kirk has a new boyfriend. She was spotted with getting handsy at new Jewish boyfriend Blake Wynn, nephew of casino mogul Steve Wynn. So he has this anonymous person on, give him some BS story. And we have Erica Kirk actually clap back. Finally responded directly from Erica Kirk. I love it. Every single word here is a lie. Charlie's love will last me a lifetime. The Lord is the only one who can ever fill that most painful void. On May 14th, I was home in Arizona celebrating my son's 2nd birthday. Blake, who is about to be engaged to his longtime girlfriend, was a dear friend of my husband, and I'm grateful for his continued support, just like hundreds of others. Your deranged obsession with me and blatant disregard for any form of truth whatsoever is deeply disturbing, and I'm praying you get the help you so clearly need. Brush off the Dorito dust and go
touch grass. Girl, add him to your protection order. Get an injunction for harassment. We have the law to utilize.
Yeah.
And it's on your side, Erica Kirk. Stop playing these games with them. You could have, see, that response is good. But saying, all right, well, I just added you to this injunction for harassment. Say my name again if you want to. Keep harassing me. You're showing Project Constitution, you dummy, that you are stalking her. Why are you out following her? I don't care if she decides to date again. I think that's irrelevant. She has the right to live and exist in peace. She doesn't have to be subjected to this. So what? You don't pay her bills. You don't have to take care of her kids. If she wants to go on a date, if she wants to go out and look pretty for the evening, she has the absolute right to do it. Candace Owens does not have to take care of Erica Kirk. Neither does Project Constitution with his bummy behind. He can't even afford an attorney. He's more scared of a cease and desist letter. So what? I wouldn't even give him the benefit of the doubt. I would not put anything past him. Oh, okay, nice to see that you're trying to keep up with whatever I'm doing. I'll just make sure you're not able to do that without penalty. There's some price you have to pay moving forward because you're going to learn one way or the other to leave me alone. When I say leave me alone, I mean leave me completely alone. It should be just that simple.
It should be that simple. But I want everybody to look at what's going on here. Look, that post that he just made up a complete fabricated story. Just complete fabrication, faithless claim. He had 758,000 views.
Good.
Yeah, her post got 1.1 million, thankfully, and we got 40,000 likes. You talk about a ratio. That's a 40,000 versus 2.5. But I want to look at it here too. Look what he said. Surely, and this is the formula, and this was perfected by Candace Owens. Surely then you would have a picture with metadata from that day or something that would show that, right? You can send it to me privately if you want. As I have said many times, I only care about the truth. If I'm wrong, I will admit it and correct the record. And that's what he's wanting.
That's a private life.
This is engagement farming through extortion, folks. This post got 214,000 views. Whatever he puts out, let's say she does send it. I hope she doesn't.
No.
Let's say she does send him some sort of proof. They're not going to accept it. And then they're going to post that and tell you why they're not going to accept it. And now they're going to get a million more views. Folks, this is a con. And I believe that the people that are in charge of social media even allow this to take place. And I talked about this up here before we get to our regularly scheduled program. This is formula for it. Content farming through extortion. My 600-pound life, Project Constitution, learn from the best. Real Candace Owens recipe for 6 million followers. Make accusations and demand proof of innocence. If no evidence of innocence is provided, continue to harass and incite others to harass until it is provided. If evidence is provided, do not accept it and start back at step 1. Step number 4, when interest and views diminish, create a new salacious accusations and target a new person and start at step 1. I actually tagged Nikita Beer, who is in charge of, I don't know, he's in charge of X basically. This can't be acceptable.
Okay. Yeah,
this
it can't be
reported. This cannot be a formula for success in social media. This cannot be incentivized, and it clearly is. People are eating this stuff up. We can't just go around accusing people of the worst things possible and then demanding evidence of their innocence. This cannot be the way things operate on social media, and it has to violate their terms of service. And if it doesn't, they need to update their terms of service. So,
right. And this is evidence that she can use in court. I wouldn't even explain anything to him. No, you can explain to a judge why you're asking me to do this nonsense and buffoonery. I'm not doing this. What are you asking me to do? Just share my private life with you? I owe you nothing, boy. That's it. That's my only response. Boy, I owe you nothing. When you don't pay my bills or I have to raise my kids or you're not God, I owe you nothing. So keep at this with challenging me and all of that. You will have to explain to a judge in a court of law why you're making demands of me to give you information from my private life like I owe you that. Clown, go find a book to read and go find something else to do. Touch grass, like she said. Go touch some grass. Yeah, he needs to be running through a field of it. Keep going, 600-pound life. That was a good one. I enjoyed my 600-pound life. Child, you know all them Twinkies. He's stuffing his face with gingerbread. Child, you can't make this stuff up. This clown demanding information. The audacity. Kick rocks. Project Constitution. You can. I'm not gonna cuss over here. I'm not gonna cuss. I'm gonna try to act my best, Gary. I'm not gonna cuss over here, but he can kiss my ass. Okay,
you're doing fine. You're doing fine. Yeah. So look, I do think the number is probably around 30%. I think 30% of this is bots and sock puppets and artificial.
Yep.
I think that's about what it is. That's artificial boosting and things like that. But we do have still a lot of people that obviously follow Candace and follow some of these other grifters. What do you think is driving most of that?
It's the need to feel like they belong in something. This is a cult. This isn't, just a social group. It's not a matter of just hanging out. Some of these people are making this a way of life. That's when you're merging into this cult of personality. You have people like this Project Constitution that does this crap for a living. He's making money doing this. Yeah. And that's what's so deplorable and disgusting. But then his cowardly behind gets mad when he gets a cease and desist letter. So if it were a matter of just, he's, doing this dumb nonsense once or twice, and then he gets hit with a letter and then he actually stops and moves on in life, that's one thing.
Well, the problem is move on, and he didn't get upset about the cease and desist letter. He turned it into more content.
Yeah, exactly.
These people actually get sued.
Yeah.
Look, I'll just tell you right now, Project Constitution O'Colin said some things about me that are absolutely actionable that I could have sued, and I looked into it. And the first thing,
I hope you do
before you sue somebody, is you see if it's worth pursuing, and you find out if they actually have any assets. Well, they don't. He doesn't. It would be a complete waste of time and money, because no matter what judgment that I ended up winning against him, I would never get. And all I would be out is probably, somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000 because, out of principle. Well, that doesn't pay the bills. But, when you do have TPUSA that can afford to do that. And by the way, I know one of the considerations for them is donor money. Look, there's a bunch of donors out there that would happily pay for a lawsuit, because this has to stop. If they continue to allow to do that, people to allow to do this, even somebody is the bottom of the barrel like Project Constitution, Like there needs to be a message sent that this cannot be allowed and you will be sued. I don't care if you're worth nothing. You're going to be worth less than nothing once we're done with you, because this has to stop and a message has to be sent. I do think even with that, that is the first time that I've seen Erica Kirk post anything. I hope they're seeing what's going on and seeing that just ignoring this isn't going to make it go away.
Exactly.
You know, hopefully they're going to fight back. Like, what would, if Erica Kirk was listening to you, what would you tell her why that she needs to fight back and why she needs to put it into some of this stuff?
Well, I mean, the first thing is a matter of safety. And like I said, she definitely needs to seek for an injunction on harassment or a flat out protection order against Candace Owens. And, you know, at the very least, restraining order for some of these big hitters over there on X and YouTube that are doing this, because you have people that are taking their words and being incited to violence. That is against the law. And that's where she has the leverage. So even if the result is not a financial gain in a judgment, you still have an injunction or a restraint or protection order that you can get from the court where it can become criminal if they violate it. And that's probably where it should be shifting towards, because it is becoming a matter of her safety now, where you have people that are sitting here carrying out these plans that try to hurt her. And do you really think Candace Owens cares if this girl was killed? She wouldn't care. She wouldn't lose not 1 second of sleep.
No, I think she'd be happy. I think she would revel in, she would feel empowered.
Right. Yep. And she would feel like mission accomplished, because it seems like that's her goal. It's not enough that Charlie Kirk is gone. No, I want his wife out the way and any other obstacle, even if it includes the kids. Like, she doesn't care that the children are catching death threats and kidnapping threats. And you have to be sick and sadistic to send a kidnapping threat and death threat towards minor children. 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. I mean, they're not a threat to her, but she sees everybody as a threat. That's the first thing, is let's secure your safety and protection first. And then secondly, Candace Owens has lied and made verifiably false statements that are absolutely defamatory, and have made statements against TPUSA where she wanted people to request refunds. The way they make money, they're a nonprofit organization, is through donors and through sponsors. Saying that people should be demanding refunds, now you're interfering with their ability to do that. That's tort. So they should be suing her. Bottom line, Brian Harper has shown the way. Okay, he's showing us how it's done. Federal lawsuit. And I'm taking you to a level of court where the judge is not playing any games. These federal judges, my godmama didn't play that. She's like, we don't play games with nonsense like this. They take it seriously from start to finish. You got to have your case well put before you take this to a federal magistrate judge or a district court judge. You can't play any games with that, because they're not tolerant of that. And they're not used to that. They're not used to you going in and trying to turn the court into a circus show. So you have to go in, focus, knowing what your claim is, have your evidence, have your witnesses, have your case put together, and mean business. And that's where it comes down the pipeline now with Erica Kirk. Get your safety secured, get that protection restraining order against Candace and all of them. Project Constitution, all them clowns. Because at the end of the day, they don't care about her. She should not care how they feel. Let them fuss and throw tantrums like the petulant children that they are. They'll get over it, but she can be secured and protected. And if they step out of bounds, now you're talking about a criminal matter. And then go and ensure that you understand hindering flow of revenue for a nonprofit organization. You're not going to do that with impunity. No, there's a consequence for that, because you have no reason to sit here and to say people should demand refunds. You don't have to like TPUSA, but don't interfere with their way of making money. Kick rocks. No, Candace always talking about, oh, they trying to shut us up. When has Candace shut the hell up? She's still talking. This girl has not shut up. Clearly, no one's trying to shut her up. Candace, I don't want you to shut up. I want you to keep talking so you can just keep giving people evidence so they can use against you in the court of law.
Lawsuit. She has a pending lawsuit.
Two.
And she's still talking about Fort Huachuca. I mean, we had the beard lawyer on here the other day talking about that. He's like, my God, like that is That is a lawyer's worst nightmare. If you
Oh,
have a
yes, it is.
lawsuit, you're talking about a certain person or subject, and then you're just going to continue to talk about that or subject.
Oh, they're gonna be so scared to put her on the stand.
Oh.
They're gonna like, oh no, don't call her. Please don't call her to the stand. No. Yeah, get your behind up there on the stand, Candace, and get put on oath. That's all we want.
I would pay big money to listen to her deposition on it. And by the way, if it goes to trial, I will be covering that trial. I will be in there.
Me too.
It's going to happen. I just want to. I want to see her up on the stand. I don't know. Maybe they'll let me bring a camera, at least a voice recorder, audio recorder. But
yeah, just get an order from the court, get permission from the court, and ask for permission to be a part of the media.
Yep.
Yeah. And they'll let you record it. Please do that so we can all watch it.
Either way, I'm going to be in there. I don't care if I have to be there sketching things out like the old stenographer. I'm a stenographer, so we have a full transcript. I don't care.
Okay.
Whatever it takes. Yeah, it's it's pretty wild to watch. Real quick, let's hit a couple super chats real fast, and we'll get back into it. Thank you very much, Raw 1213, for becoming a member. And by the way, folks, make sure you like, subscribe if you want to become a member. Thank you for that. But most importantly, down in the description below is Lady Luck, all of her social media links. So make sure you go follow her. I know she's on YouTube, X. Where else are you at?
Instagram, and that's it. IG, X, and YouTube.
Awesome. Colton, we always appreciate you, buddy. Thank you very much. Just for the support, and hello, everyone. Keep it up, Gary. Thank you.
Nice.
She's so happy. I'll look her up and sub. Do that right now. Open up another browser. You guys go sub to her channel right now. Lady Luck makes me actually LOL every time I watch her.
Oh, thank you, Stacey.
Jen is saying 9-0 SCOTUS ruling in favor of Trump. Jen, if you will, grab that news report. Let's take a look at that.
Ooh, nice.
Paramount Tactical, she's like sunshine. No one ever says I'm like sunshine.
Oh, y'all, Gary is sunshine too. He's so adorable.
Let's go. How exciting. So good to see you on Paramount Tactical. What a great collab. Long time coming.
Thank you, No Reply. That's a fantastic mod. I love him.
I speak chat. As Gary just said, imagine you're standing around maybe texting girl, boyfriend, or maybe taking pictures, maybe talking to someone. Suddenly your friend gets shot, and now you're suspect number one until you prove otherwise. It's every American should just be disgusted by this. And I like me when people sit there and say, "Why are you doing this?" I'm like, why are you not doing this? Why is not everybody outraged by what's taking place right here? That's the real question. Because she's a compulsive liar, she lies for the fun of it. Yep. I think what she attempts to do, what she takes pleasure in, is manipulating people. I think that, and Lady Luck hit it on. I've said it many times. I also think that she is genuinely sadistic, on top of being an absolute narcissist.
Yep, absolutely. Narcissism is something else.
Two of my favorite shows like Paramount Tactical and Lady Luck are going to save the West. So grateful for what you both do. Thank you very much, Sage.
Oh, thank you, Sage.
Mitch is going to fold like a cheap shirt. He's a weak, narcissistic liar. He'll try and flip on her for money. She's already throwing him under the bus. I already have a clip saved back there of her saying, "I didn't know, I didn't know."
Keep lying, Candace. Keep lying, Hilfer.
What are you talking about? I never had no Mitch on this program.
Yeah.
Heard of no Mitch? No.
Mitch who? What?
Delete.
Which?
I have some experience with Akona's vacations. DIA, NSA build specific lists for places to not go. Russia was almost at the top when I left, but the U.S. can't stop a citizen. It's a red flag. That's true, unless they have sanctions against them. Good old Ian Carroll. The Mitch Snow story got Ian Carroll kicked out of Candace's circle thanks to helping with that, Gary. That was one of the biggest wins. And on top of that, not only did she throw him under the bus and talk derogatorily about him, because of the Mitch Snow instance, he's still back defending her. Like, these people are. It's a cult, all right, and the temple is goddess Candace. I mean, that's what's happened, and it's insane it's just insane to observe all of this and see that this
Yeah.
will actually happen in a modern American society. It's wild.
Yeah. Yep.
Gary, this is for the Lady Luck Club. I disrespected her publicly, and since coming back to the Lord, I strive to do and be better. I owe this public apology to her.
Wow.
Today. She sees my heart in this. Lady Luck, I was wrong, and I apologize. Wow.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Wow. That takes me off guard. Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
That is yeah, that's probably
SC
the all night.
Thank you. Wow.
Now I accidentally my mouse took off on me.
Uh-uh.
So true. Candace will do something bad to Erica and her children, even her mother, if she gets the chance. Good show. That's where I saw how sadistic Candace was.
Mm-hmm.
When we go back and she talks about when she came back from that meeting with Erica Kirk, and she says the only time that Erica Kirk showed any emotion was when her mother came up. And what did she do? She turned that, 12-part series or whatever it was, the expose, documentary, whatever it was, and that was no different than anything else she does. But she spends most of the time just trying to go after Lori Francois.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was the purpose of that was to target Erica, to hurt Erica. It wasn't about providing information. It was to make sure that Candace knew that she was to make sure that Erica knew that Candace was talking about her mother and trying to damage her legacy as she's laying on her deathbed. I mean, what is more evil than that?
Yeah. Candace, like this is what I said. She has no ability to have empathy or compassion or anything. I think what you will see in court will be as close to humane as she will become. Mm-hmm. And that'll be for show, because then she'll be trying to prove something to a judge and jury. But she's evil. She's a demon, and it is what it is. I call it every day. I mean, I'm not gonna ever back down from being completely honest and blunt when it comes to Candace Owens. She's an evil demon, narcissistic alien. She called herself an alien. I said, okay, we'll go with that. So she's a demonic alien. Like, she doesn't care. She doesn't care about anything. And I think, her trying to show this fake outrage when it comes to someone saying anything about her and her kids or her co-workers, social, whomever these people are, she tries to defend. It comes off so disgusting because she could care less about being hypocritical. And it's like, well, you want to sit here and show some fake outrage. When someone says, I hope your daughter doesn't end up like you, and uses terms that you don't like, that's not illegal. Nothing that was said was illegal. Now you're trying to weaponize that to say you're going to cyber dox someone. You're going to commit a cyber crime. You're going to dox someone and target them. Yeah. Okay. Then if they sue you, you had it coming. But why does she feel like she has, the standing to do that is beyond me. The way to fight back. Okay. I'll see you in court.
Yeah.
For all the money, because that's all you care about. So we're gonna bankrupt you and sleep peacefully. We're not gonna be bothered by bankrupting you if you are not bothered by doxing someone and causing people to be targeted and have death threats issued against them. Then why should we feel bad about bankrupting you? Girl, bye.
Well, and the problem is that her audience won't even hold her accountable. I mean, she could literally say one thing one day, and on the very next show say the complete opposite, and all you're gonna see down in the comments is just how brilliant Candace is.
Yeah, because her bots are stupid.
They are bots, and then they are
dumb bots.
Elite morons among our audience, US. Yep. I mean, I'm talking elite level, like licking the window level idiots out there. Mm-hmm. I've said this before, and I agree with you. Look, Jesus said turn on the other cheek, but the other thing that Jesus did is he went into the temple and quite frankly,
showed out.
Yeah, like he flipped tables. He was in there raising King, and that's what this time is for. We have to understand, like, we are in a war. We are in a war, folks. This is an information war, and our country's on the line. Our society's on the line. Our kids' future is on the line. Do you want your kids to grow up in a society where they think this type of behavior is not only allowed, but it is incentivized and encouraged? Like, my God, if my kids grew up acting like this, and this is how they see they think this is normal. This is how we end up as a banana republic. When we start normalizing the idea that you can just accuse people without evidence, and they are guilty until they prove their innocence. That's how we end up a banana republic. And there's too many people that have died for this country and died for the way that we conduct justice in of itself. To sit there and allow someone like Candace Owens to completely flip the script and change, have this huge paradigm shift on something that's worked for 250 years.
Right. Yeah, we're not gonna allow that.
Best duo ever.
Hi, Laura. Shout out to my moms. I appreciate you. Thank you, honey.
Thank you, not quitted. Juju
Hi,
B,
Juju.
Lady Luck membership.
Thank you.
I want to have a slap competition with Project Constitution with chalk, no Dorito crumbs allowed. I agree. I would pay a lot of money to do that.
It's 600-pound life. You know what that would sound like? A sumo kid.
I would just love to see that in slow motion when I just I got that slap where you hear
and that wiggle. Oh, Gary, I love you.
Radiate all throughout his body because it would out of him. He would never forget that.
Oh my God! You seen Loki? Did you watch Loki?
I'll let him go first. That cushy little hand that he has. I'll be like, boo. All right, my turn.
Oh, you're good. You're funny.
That fat, chubby fingers.
I know, right? Oh, this cheeseburger heart.
The Constitution counts on people not suing him because he's broke. Someone has to sue him. I agree. Juju B, get that one already. My husband says Gary sounds like Dr. Phil.
Oh,
I've never been told that before. Whatever.
Very calm and very soothing. Oh, okay.
Gary and Artie and Bronson have all made me want to start my own channel. I know Gary talks about this a lot. I've listened to politics instead of music for 11 years now. I may just have to give it a try. Well, again, Dirt Bike, one of the things you can do, I'll send you a guest link sometime. You can just come on and help me guest co-host. You co-host the show,
nice.
Get you used to talking in front of a camera because it's something you got to get used to. I still struggle with. Especially on lives. Like I get nervous every time I turn this on. Like you got to sit here and like right now I'm staring at a camera that's right here, and then my TV is up there. And I'm trying to get more distance. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're always looking up." Well, this is where my monitor is. For better or for worse, is what it is. But we'd love to have you on some time and just have some fun with it. See if it's for you. But yeah. So a lot going on there. What else you got, Lady Luck?
Oh man. So we went over yesterday. One of I know I sent the link of where the court docs are, but we did go over one in particular for the notice of appearance where Candace has two attorneys.
Okay. And
we noticed that Mitchell Snow was not included in the defense. She won't even get him an attorney. And then part of the discussion was, well, if she's gonna leak, she knows he can't afford an attorney. He cannot afford any of this, but we don't care because he had it coming. But seeing how she is trying to distance herself from him, and now showing, I'm not gonna help you fundraise for an attorney. Forget the crowdfunding thing. The Save Go Now, whatever he has with that, he's gonna try to pull it out and cash out. And I do believe it's over 135,000.
Over 100.
That might
150,000.
150,000. That might get him 3 months, 3-4 months of 1 to 2 good attorneys, because their billable hours are insane. And he tried to go die hard on X for her, and he's still defending her. What he's gonna realize is, as this case starts to move forward in the court, he's gonna be left on his own. And he's going to be forced to have to continue to fundraise to pay for attorney's fees or risk having a default judgment. Now, I'm all for him having a default judgment issued against him, and it'll be what it is. But that means you see what the fight is going to be now with her. And Candace goes to court and decries, willful ignorance. It is what she's going to try to do. I didn't know that I was lying like hell is hot when I said that. I didn't know that I didn't know I was fibbing and providing fake emails and text messages. I didn't know like that. Even with their argument on trying to have the Macron lawsuit dismissed because of jurisdiction, it's so rudimentary. You don't even have to go to law school to see that they're full of crap.
Yeah.
But it goes to show you have these attorneys that are going to be overly zealous for their client, throw spaghetti at the wall, and they think they're going to be able to pull this off in a district court. This is a federal complaint. They're not in the mood. This judge will not be in the mood. There's a jury demand. It's going to move through the court. That's it. Either she's going to have to get to a point where she realizes my motion to dismiss is going to be so laughable and get dismissed so fast that I'm going to have to settle or hope that it gets to the point where the jury hears something and still rule against me, and the ruling in the judgment is not as high as I hope it is. I hope he gets 20 million out of her. I don't think he would have a hard time getting that. I hope he goes for the gold. Go for the gold. Brian Harper, go for the gold. But
that's another reason.
I hope he gets that.
That's another reason I want Erica and TPUSA to sue her. I mean, how ironic would it be if they take her for $50-60 million and now she has to pay for the rest of her life into TPUSA and get all the money back that she used, that she earned or made. I won't say earned.
Yep.
You know what? She earned it. She earned it. I'll give her that.
She
earned it. Attempted to destroy Erica Kirk, TPUSA, and Charlie Kirk's legacy. I hope she has to take all that money, then plus some off future earnings, and continue to pay TPUSA and to fund TPUSA. I would love to see that. There would be no better irony on the planet than that right there.
Yep. And she'll realize before I sit and because going through this court process, one thing Candace does not ever admit to is, discovery works both ways. So you think you're going to go in and just get whatever you want. No, you're not. They're going to object to half of your dumb requests, and then they're going to get discovery out of you. Every bit of discovery they can get out of her is going to be something she does not want the public to know, because the moment it lands through the courts, guess who's going to pull it from the court system, Candace? Me. And then I'm going to report on it, and then I'm going to show it to the public. I don't care if it's your financial affidavit. I don't care what it is. The moment it hits the court system, unless it is something that the court rules say should be concealed, like something with her social or medical reports or something like that, if it can be released to the public, we're getting it. And she does not want that. And so for that and many other reasons, just to spare herself, I think she's going to try to settle. And seeing that Mitch Snow is dodging service to the point where now the U.S. Marshals are going in. Good luck to that, Mitch Snow. Go to them if you want to, raising that hammer. They're going to beat your behind. But you go out there and they try to serve you, and you answer the door with a hammer in your hand, they take you down, clown. So when they go out there to try to, that's if he answer the door.
He tried to say that Brian Harper was lying, that there was even a lawsuit against him, and we had the lawsuit with him named in it. Like, you think they just fabricated this I don't know, 60-page document, 69-page document? But here's what a lawyer has to say about the wanting discovery. I love this clip. This is one of my favorite clips ever.
Yeah, I'm laughing because anyone who thinks that getting sued is good because you're going to get an opportunity for discovery is an absolute idiot. Absolutely idiot. Like nonsense. I mean, no lawyer will disagree with me on this, by the way. Okay. No practicing lawyer. You're looking at somebody who's in courts across the country on internet defamation issues, somebody who has to go through cell phone forensics, somebody who has to go through email exchanges, redactions, protective orders. People, there's externalities, there's splashes of people that you don't want to get into litigation to get pulled in as witnesses, right? It is nasty. So let me just frame this as saying it is not a good strategy to say, I can't wait to become a defendant because of discovery. Period. Dumbest thing I've ever heard.
But that was just a short clip from a much longer video. And if you'd like to watch it in its entirety.
That's so good.
No,
He is absolutely correct.
A guy that makes money off of defamation suits tell you that's not a good strategy. So
It's not. And she's not gonna, she's definitely, her attorneys know she's not gonna sit here and try to override her attorneys, because if that be the case, she would have tried to do that in the Macron lawsuit. But look what ended up happening. Every time they filed a complaint or amended complaint, there's a motion to dismiss. Motion to dismiss. This hearing coming up is on her motion to dismiss. It's not on anything that the petitioners filed. So in this Brian Harper lawsuit, you know, once again, this is a federal complaint. They're not going to go in playing games with her. And she probably knows that her attorneys are going to suggest, because they don't want her to testify, she doesn't want to give up discovery. What options does she really have left other than to come up with a settlement? And that's what she's probably going to try to do. And settlements are private. They're not disclosed, you know, the bulk of it anyway, it's not disclosed to the public, and you don't have to worry about the court being involved in that process. So if she can get a private settlement going, she probably will just try to do that. Once she sees that Mitch Snow is out here ducking service and lying about it, and it's like it's already becoming a monstrosity with that. And if he bucks at U.S. Marshals, and they're gonna lock him up. So now you're talking about one of your co-defendants, quite possibly, you know, trying to get served, you know, pulling some stunt with the U.S. Marshal Service. Like, they're not gonna play that with him. And This is the person you brought on your show and conspired with to defame someone because you wanted him to lie about Erica Kirk being somewhere just so you can involve her in all this. This is what this comes down to. How do I remove Erica Kirk? And it was just that simple. And she lied so bad to where now she knows if she keeps fighting this, knowing that it's going through this legal process, she's just going to keep digging that hole for herself. And you can see this girl going to Italy. She's going to Russia. She's not studying this lawsuit. She's not taking any of this stuff seriously. She's not taking the Macron lawsuit seriously. And she knows at the end of the day, that option for her to do a private settlement is more than likely what she's going to aim for, because she's not going to want to testify. She doesn't want to give up her personal information on anything. And she, you know, what does she have to say? What kind of explanation could she possibly provide if she were to testify or be deposed? What could she possibly say?
That's the problem. She's already talked. She's already given up. You know, when she did her X space about the Fort Huachuca thing, she admitted, you know, when I was with Erica Kirk, she gave me all the flight information for Brian Harpole and said that he wasn't there. But 3 days later, that was the 15th, 3 days later, she has Mitch Snow on, and she doesn't provide her viewers at all with any of the exculpatory information. None.
Exactly.
She doesn't even give you the balanced balanced information to say, hey, this is what happened with this. She intentionally withheld that information. And, you know, the reason was because the narrative is more profitable. It's what she wants to push over the truth. It's what she does every single time. It's why she's still saying, you know, that Tyler Robinson had to scale the rooftop like Spider-Man, when you can just walk over the handrail. You can walk right over you're on the rail. You're on the roof.
So
I hope that Brian Harpole and I hope the Macrons don't settle. I hope they take it all the way.
Trust me. I would rather see her be deposed and have to be deposed in front of the judge, jury, and many, many cameras, and have it live streamed, and we can all watch and laugh and giggle, and I can clown her for hours. That's what we all want. We want her to get to that point where, you know, it comes down to where you start feeling the pinch of all of this. And the best way to take a narcissist down is that public shame and humiliation. It's it. They don't ever want to be seen as weak in front of their coach, in front of the public. They want to be seen as that strong man 24/7. How dare I show any weakness and cry? Like, But if she ends up doing that in court, yeah, now you get to see that be done in front of other people, in front of a jury that's going to come out and give a resolution and enter a judgment against you. You're going to have to do that in front of people that are going to have your livelihood in the palm of their hands. And they're going to be the ones to say, well, we believe that she should pay $20 million in punitive damages. Like, that's what it's going to come down to. I want nothing more than to see that. But I don't want people to be shocked if there's some attempt you see for a settlement, because she's not going to announce that. It's something that you'll find out the hard way. You might find out from the opposing party. But that's a possibility. But hopefully they decide, nope, kick rocks. We're going to court. You're going to get the post.
Well, I think the other major factor in all this is that recent Nashville $18 million judgment against that other YouTuber. I mean, that's writing on the wall for Candace Owens right there, because, you know, basically the only thing that they were accused of was creating this controversy to basically run a GoFundMe and some other things too. But what that YouTuber, Ryan, whatever his name was, didn't accuse them of was actually killing their daughter. And so, you know, that was one of the things that the Beard lawyer pointed out. He's like, look, this is actually worse. What Candace is doing is worse than this. And they got $18 million. And you know they didn't have the damages that TPUSA is going to be able to highlight and be like, look, our reputation is damaged. We're a multi-million-dollar company. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up suing, if TPUSA and or Eric Kirk doesn't get $100 million judgment. I really don't. I mean, I think that is a very real possibility.
I want it. I hope. That's why I said I see nothing less than 20 million for Brian Harple alone. And if TPUSA hits her with a federal lawsuit, because they can go for a federal lawsuit, they can easily ask for 50 mil. You know, let's not forget, you know, others who may have been donors that she has doxed. She doxed a donor because the woman was Jewish. Yeah. And for no other reason. And it's, why are you doing this? But yet that hurts the bottom line as well of TPUSA, because this is someone who's donated, you know, or committed to a certain amount of millions of dollars here to a nonprofit organization. 70-80% of their initial revenue comes in through the donors. They have other ventures and, you know, other LLCs that allow them to be able to like invest in stock markets and those types of things, because Wills in Finance does not know what the hell he's talking about. So they do have the TP, you know, LLCs that allow them to invest.
They have the 501c3, and then they can use, and then they have the 501c4. So you have TPUSA Action, which is the political arm, and they have the TPUSA. And so those are two different things. One's a nonprofit that's not political, and one is a nonprofit that is political. And you're right. They have additional entities that, for instance, the Charlie Kirk Show, completely different entity than TPUSA. It's not the same.
So, you know, hurting that bottom line, you know, it interferes with their ability to maintain as an organization, as a company, and be able to financially expand and function. They don't have the right to, Candace doesn't have the right to interfere with that. She just doesn't, you know, and if they're not under any investigation or anything, there's no evidence that they're doing anything fraudulent or, you know, perpetuating any scams or anything. Her just saying y'all should demand refunds. What are you doing this for? Other than to intentionally, you know, interfere with that ability to generate that revenue. That is illegal, and they can hold you legally liable. You're interfering. It's tort. So you can't do that. They may have contracts with people that, you know, have certain obligations that might be harder to fulfill with her out here defaming them. No, now you're hurting their financial revenue flow. You don't have the right to do that. You don't have standing to do that, and they can take you to court for it. That's what needs to happen at this point. And, you know, because she's a coward, she didn't fly out there and face them head on in a live stream. So the only way you can really get her to be honest, even remotely 10% about that, you're going to have to take her to court. and you're going to have to get it through her through a deposition. You're going to have to get it through a court order. Otherwise, she's not going to be honest and be truthful about anything with TPUSA, because at this point, it's too lucrative for her to tell the truth. She's going to keep lying. So.
Well, I loved how she sent me a preservation order. And
what was that about? You got to can you show that to me? Can you pull that up? Are you able to send me a copy of something? I want to talk about that. Are you able to email it to me?
I'll email it to you. Let me see if I can find
Email it to me. Oh my God. Candace. You clown.
I
telling you to preserve what? Since I always spoilage, she heard me say something about spoilage of evidence. Candace watches my videos. She's a clown. She probably learned anything. How dare you send him a letter? You didn't send me one, Candace. I feel left out.
I'm just the old obscure YouTuber.
I know, right? They got a whole letter. All right, I'm gonna need you to preserve all these videos. Where they going? If your cult members don't have my videos removed, they'll be there. They're not going anywhere. Candy's just such a clown. Yep. Take us serious. Oh, that preservation letter is so precious. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Y'all laugh with me because Candace is an alien. You can't make this up.
Let me download it real quick, and then I will show it to everybody. Say, oops.
Good job. She said, preserve that evidence. What? Candace, you know he can counter. So stupid. Oh, bless her little alien heart. If she tries anything with you, please counter and be done with it. Candace, you might get the polls in Gary's lawsuit.
That's the I don't know. I'm not saying any of that stuff isn't off the table because it is. Let me get to where I can present this.
This is so funny. Why this is priceless. Hi, Linda Walker.
Here we go. Here we go. We're going to share this tab instead. We're going to throw that up there. There we go. And I will make that bigger.
Yeah, wherever you feel like you can share.
Law PC, Gary Melton. Dear Mr. Melton, our office represents Candace Owens LLC, Georgetown Inc., collectively clients in the above referenced defamation suit litigation. Attached a copy of the complaint. This letter serves as a formal notice that you and your organization must preserve documents, electronically stored information, and tangible things that may be relevant to the claims, defense, of the litigation. The preservation demand includes, but without limitation, and materials relating to any investigation, communications, or activities concerning Brian Harbaugh, Eric Kirk, TPUSA, Turning Point USA, and any statements, publications, or communications that are alleged to be defamatory or that relate to the issue in dispute, including any efforts to investigate, publicize, or otherwise disseminate information about Brian Harbaugh, Eric Kirk, Turning Point USA. Duty to preserve. You must take immediate steps to preserve all potentially relevant information in your possession, custody, or control, including information held by you or officers, employees, agents, contractors, investigators, consultant, public relation personnel related to any of your companies and any other persons acting on your behalf. Includes taking reasonable steps to prevent the loss, alteration, overwriting, deletion, destruction, or modification of potentially relevant information, whether intentional or inadvertent. So it just goes on. It lists all the stuff. Suspending the auto delete, blah, blah, blah. No waiver of privileged material, written confirmation and point of contact. And all I did was send them an acknowledgement of got it. Got it.
Candace. She's such a clown. What do you think you're going to delete?
Dear Mr. Obscure YouTuber. That's how it should have been titled.
You send a letter to somebody, Candace, you find to be obscure and irrelevant, obscure and irrelevant. You can't make this up. Now all of a sudden you're mandated to preserve all your YouTube videos. Where are they going?
Folks, can you imagine 6 months ago, it's gonna be like, Gary, you're gonna be named, you're gonna be sent a preservation letter from Candace Owens.
Candace Owens.
in the middle of a lawsuit against her. I'm like, no, that would never happen. That would never happen. Here we are.
Oh, that's unbelievable, Candace. I hope Erica Kirk filed a protection order
I
against
think
you.
I think we're up to like 12 episodes now where we've been mentioned. So
you can't make this up. She gets so mad. She gets so mad that them alien horns start to show and everything. When she starts talking about you and Gary from Paramount Tactical.
Mm-hmm. Jen put together such a good montage of her talking about me. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But look, you know what? If I'm occupying her mind and I'm taking slings and arrows from her, that means that she's not doing it to Erica or TPUSA or anyone else that deserves it. Right? Send it to me. Send it, Candace. Do your worst. There's nothing you can do to
you
me.
alien.
I love it.
Come on, ET home, phone home.
I think Erica and TPUSA are waiting on trial timing. I don't know that that's true. And me and the Beard Lawyer talked about this. Some other people have talked about it. The problem is that the trial is probably not going to happen for 2 years, maybe 3 years, even, according to Andrew. Statute of limitations on defamation is about a year in most states, all but a couple. And I'm pretty sure in Tennessee and or Arizona, both of those are a year. So, from the time that is originally posted. Now, I don't know how that works necessarily. If they keep talking about it, keep bringing it up, obviously anything that's defamatory kind of restarts the clock. But for the most part, I think they have about, a year left. And I don't know how that works is like, oh, okay, well, what she said, the worst thing that she said goes back 13 months. Now I can't use that. Look, here's my take on this, and I would love to hear what you have to think about this. Okay. I think Erica was just trying to be gracious. I think that Erica didn't want to get into a lawsuit. I think that she also knows that, look, the midterms are coming up, and if she starts investing time and energy, and trust me, it will be emotionally consuming, it'll be time consuming, it'll be financially consuming. That's taken away from their core objectives. And I think she was like, you know what, we're just going to sit here and hopefully she'll stop. That's why she hasn't ever posted or responded or anything else. And the only thing she's ever done is she capitulated to Candace Owens when originally Candace was supposed to come to them. She flew to them. I mean, how much more gracious can you get? It just shows she has established a pattern of good intent, right? She has established a pattern of just being honest and going through the doing everything that she possibly can. So, and of goodwill, and Candace has done the opposite time and time again. So, some of this I do think was just trying to avoid this because the cost of it, and it's not just money, there's so much more. Exactly. But I think she's also kind of probably at a point. This is just me speculating. I've never talked to Erica. I've never corresponded with Erica or anything else. Unlike what Candace says that Erica hired me for PR. So I think she's had enough, and she has operated in good faith the entire time, and Candace has returned nothing but the opposite. So that's where we're at with it. That's why I think that's why I think they haven't fought back. What do you think?
Well, I don't think I agree with the idea that they're not waiting necessarily for the trial, because really the accusation of being involved in a cover-up of an assassination does not require for you to wait through a murder trial for the person that is guilty of it to be proven such. The one has nothing to do with the other. Secondly, with Candace being a public figure and an alien, you have to prove malice. And I think with that comes just more time and evidence, because you got to show some pattern of behavior. When you're talking about harassment, you're talking about the bullying, the defamation, the tort. You show that over an extended period of time. It's not just, she said this one thing this one time and that's it. you have to show this pattern too. And I think with Erica Kirk going to Tennessee or deciding to take the trip to Tennessee, and I wonder, this is just my opinion, and I hope that this is what her goal was to achieve, in that she went there to simply correct the record and to say that we did this in the state of Tennessee. So like Brian Harple, if she wants to sue her, now you've established jurisdiction. That federal lawsuit can be filed in a Tennessee court if it comes from Erica Kirk or even TPUSA. Because here's what we tried to provide this evidence to her, correct the record, and she still came out of it with all this other defamatory nonsense, and even did a whole series of just blatant defamation against Erica Kirk and her mother. And so the harassment behavior did not cease, and it didn't end. She got hit with a cease and desist. They don't owe that to her. No one has to serve you a cease and desist to sue you. But they did that to show we took every measure we could possibly take to give her an opportunity to cease and desist with the defamation, with the harassment, with the bullying, the targeting, the doxing. This woman is admitting to stalking her. She has sources and direct contacts that live in her residential building. I mean,
and
for her to
other people to stalk her, like encouraging other people.
Encouraging this. Watch her and listen to her and everything. Why? Wait, what? That's a felony. But see, here now you can say all of these things have happened over the last 8-9 months in this lawsuit where we've flown to her. She didn't even have to leave the state of Tennessee. And we showed her the evidence. We showed her the information. We answered her questions. And she still came out lying like hell is hot. Now we have grounds to show malice. And I just really, and I said this when she went out there, I said, I really hope that's what Erica Kirk's goal was to simply just do that, because she sees Candace is a narcissist and evil, and she's not going to stop unless I sue her. But Candace wants this tension in a, as she said, court of public opinion. She wants this dialogue to last forever. No one's in the mood for that. So the way to get it to come to an end, I'm going to take you to a court of law, and then you can explain yourself in front of a judge and jury. But you got to prove that we attempted to resolve this. We tried to get her to see the evidence. We showed her the information. We showed her travel logs. She ignored it. She didn't care, and she still lied. And now we have this pattern of behavior that has developed where she has been malicious every step of the way from start to finish. Now we have a clear case of this defamation where we can meet malice. We've shown the pattern. We've tried to give her time to correct this, and she didn't stop. Now let's sue her. And hopefully they do it before that time runs out. Because I understand Erica Kirk doesn't want to take her to court. I know that. But she's going to have to.
Yeah.
She's just going to have to. For her safety and protection, she's going to have to.
Well, and while there's a statute of limitations for a year,
right,
that also gives them an entire year to continue to build a case. They probably have some lawyers sitting there just writing that lawsuit on a daily basis that are watching her.
Oh, yeah.
Watching every episode. And it's like, all right, folks, we got a month. Like our first major claim was on, I don't know, let's say October 15th, whatever it was. All right. So it's October 15th. We got a month. Like, let's go ahead. We got it all together. We've added 50 things more just in the last 3 months that going to prove our case. So they could be strategically building that case as we speak. And you better believe they have a couple lawyers doing that, probably multiple lawyers doing that, at least keeping track, so that if they are ready to sue, it's like, take it up to the court, file it, let's go. But they're just, I mean, Candace is providing them ample opportunity, and she gets involved in evidence. Like, again, when, this is one of the things we talk with the beard lawyer. When you're given a cease and desist,
right,
and instead of ceasing and desisting, you decide to turn that into
double down.
You ratchet it up. Like, the judge, neither the judge nor a jury is going to, would you? It's like, can you, I mean, just imagine sitting there with 12 reasonable people in a jury, 12 reasonable people. And you have to lay this out. You don't get like 9 months to get indoctrinated by this nonsense. You get to see the stark comparison of where it started, where it ended. Hey, Charlie Kirk was killed on this date, and this is what happened. Boom, 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 boom. And you're like, my God, man, this woman is evil. Yeah. Those lawyers are going to lay it out, and it is just going to be like, it's going to take them 10 minutes to deliberate whether or not, like, that's it. If that, the longest amount of time was like, hey, how much do we need to take from this woman? And
exactly. Can we do a garnishment?
All of it.
We want to take it out her check. Can we do that?
Well, you know, the only thing that concerns me about that is, look, I think no matter what, to some extent, if that happens, and maybe even when it comes to the Brian Harpole, because her career is pretty much over. Because when you take away the grift, she has nothing. Folks, when you look at Social Blade and you look at where we see some significant spikes for our audience, the significant spike came from the Macron case. Completely built on fantasy, completely built on nonsense. She's going to get sued over that. And then the next big spike was the Charlie Kirk. Before that, she had a fairly small audience. Yeah, she was. And why did she have the audience she had to begin with? Because of Charlie Kirk, because of Ben Shapiro. Candace would not have made it on her own. She would not have made herself. She was made through Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk made her originally, got her out there in the public, taught her, coached her, mentored her, and then she stabbed him in the back, went to PragerU, ultimately ended up at Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro gave her a huge audience and gave her huge opportunities, and look at how she treated him. Without those people, Candace Owens would have never been on. She would still be back there doing social autopsy stuff. She'd still be working for the left, failing at everything that she does.
Right.
But you take away her ability to grift, her ability to just spew lies and defamation and defamatory statements about people and accusations. You take that away from her, I don't think she has a show. I don't think she has anything to offer us.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's what these lawsuits are going to start doing. It's going to start telling on her, because she has doxed people for years. She has gone after people and targeted people for a long time. This isn't that her doing that isn't new. It's the idea that people are finally saying this is enough. I'm suing you. I'm taking you to court. That's what's new, because she hasn't been, Treehouse News should have sued her. There's so many people that should have sued her a long time ago. This girl had a whole website, and this demon had a whole website where she was doxing minor children. And all of those parents should have taken her to court. They could have did a class action. They didn't. And that's the thing. You become more emboldened the more you believe you're getting away with it all. Nope. You explain this to a judge and jury, you got to come and help her. And I'm going to be laughing all the way, Candace. You can kiss my butt.
Yeah, my only concern with that
Lord,
her husband is like, I'm not under.
He doesn't care.
The misconception that her life is going to change all that much. I think her career is pretty much going to be over. But with that being said, like, her husband is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and you better believe that money is going to be separated. That's probably going to be untouchable. I don't know how.
Does he have a prenup? You think?
That I don't know. But I promise you, his money, which came from his father when he was getting married, I'm sure they made sure that was safeguarded in a way that anything stupid she does or says wasn't going to affect that amount of money. I think the blackmail that allegedly that Candace has on him is what his prenup is. You're like, I know.
Yeah, that photo with Milo or something. What's his name? Milo. The Milo photo. Come in.
I know who was in there.
With the sweet nothings in there.
I know who was in there. I know what was going on when you wrecked that truck. His name was Bob.
Yeah, I thought it was more like a Joseph.
Probably.
You didn't think more of a Joseph.
I don't
Not
know.
there. Yeah, no, Joseph has a ring to it. I gotta work on my British accent.
I suspect,
Joseph is not there.
I suspect old Georgie, and this is my opinion, I suspect old Georgie likes him big and burly, and he likes a big old burly guy.
Oh, okay. My son's saying big and burly hairs. I can do a mean Scottish right now. Get it? Come on, you gentlemen, get the burly hairs washed. Be almighty. Get it out of there. What be afraid of the burly hairs? George, come wash with me. George, kick rocks. How we get deported?
Oh my gosh. I put this up earlier, so I don't want to waste her efforts. She put up this SCOTUS ruling. DOJ Supreme Court win. Supreme Court yet again reversed the Fourth Circuit, this time with the unanimous 9-0 decision, as the Department of Justice argued the Fourth Circuit was wrong to try to rewrite a statute about the process of resolving government employee complaints. This unanimous result reflects a key principle that we fight for. Judges should be judges, resolving the case before them, and should never try to seize Congress roles, legislate from the bench. This opinion sends a clear message: lower courts must accept the law is the law, no matter the political controversies of the day, as the Supreme Court rightly emphasized. Jen, if you're back there, can you give us some context? Is this the case that was going before the Supreme Court regarding Trump firing federal employees? I think this is what this is.
Yes.
Okay. Folks, Trump reduced the federal workforce by 10%. Like, can we just sit back and recognize what a huge deal that is? Like, do you understand how hard it is? And we should be able to reduce it by 50%. But that is a big deal. Never been done before. If Biden or some other Democrat or Kamala Harris it would have increased by 30% instead of being reduced by 10%. The amount of things that Trump has gotten done, the amount of campaign promises that he has actually executed on in only 18 months, like, it's never been done before. But all of these losers out there want you to believe that he's not getting anything done because they want to highlight dumb things like the Epstein files, which is nothing more than a psyop at this point. So like, Trump's gotten a lot done. Net negative migration, crime is down by like 50%. Lowest crime rates we've ever seen. Violent crime rates, murders are down. Opioid deaths are down. Opioid deaths alone down 40,000 per year from the Biden administration. I mean, there are 40,000 more people alive this year than would have happened under the Biden administration. And a lot of that's because he's closed the border. Sex trafficking is down. Child trafficking is down because the borders are closed. It's a lot harder. We're still throwing people out, not at the rate that I would want, but he's also being, challenged on that through the bureaucracy as well. So a lot of these things that Trump is trying to get done, it's the Democrats and the things that they have put into policy that are, tying his hands on a lot of this stuff. So anyone out there telling you that the way that we build a better nation is to lose the midterms, folks, they're tricking you into your own demise, and it's absolute lunacy.
Well, and Gary, this ruling actually has some implications on exactly what you were talking about with DHS and deporting people, because it limits the capacity of district court judges to insert themselves into the job of the president. So this is going to have other implications that will positively affect the administration and getting their job done. Because the court's job is to interpret the law, not to make the law.
Well, their job is to interpret to some extent, and very narrowly, but their job is to enforce the law and make sure that the law is being executed is the way it is written. That's the problem. Is, again, we have judges just outright make up law as they go and legislating from the bench, and then they have other judges that want to interpret the law in such a manner that wasn't the intent that Congress had to begin with. So, yeah, hopefully this kind of abridges some of that and puts the reins in some of these activist judges. And that's the other thing, folks. If we lose the midterms, for instance, if we lose the midterms and we have a Supreme Court justice that dies or decides to retire, he can't appoint anybody. Like, the reason we have the country now is because of all the justices that Trump was able to appoint in his last term. So, the rulings that we have, Roe v. Wade being overturned, and many, many more, are because of what he did. The other thing they're going to be able to do, especially if they win 2028, is they're going to be able to flood. Number one, they're going to be able to pack the court. All right, they're going to probably move it to 13, I believe they're talking about. But they've already said that they're going to do that. The other thing that we're going to see if we lose the midterms is we're going to see Trump impeached again. So there's a lot to lose here, and I mean a lot, because if they win 2028 and they get the House and the Senate, folks, I don't see how we ever recover from it. They are definitely going to open the borders again. We're going to have 10 million plus flooding in this country per year. They're going to pack the courts. They're going to continue to appoint federal judges that are, everything that we're seeing is because of that. State and local, we have, the damage they've been able to do at the state and local level, which is why George Soros has put so much money into state and local jurisdiction and elections. Like, they're outmaneuvering us all over. And, Trump has gotten more than he should have done in the 18 months that he's been in office. But what he hasn't been able to accomplish is because of all the damage that the Democrats have done in the past. The leftist globalists that have sold out this country time and time again to Russia, to China. We don't produce anything in this country anymore. We finally have some of the highest amounts of oil production that we've ever had. And now we're also exporting, and Trump has capitalized on everything that's going on with Venezuela, everything that's going on with Iran, and we've increased exports like we never had before. So there's a lot going on, and the only thing that they can point to is high gas prices and the Epstein files. That's what they got, and they use it to their advantage every single time. Real quick, I want to get Lady Luck's thoughts on those. Now I got her looking like Wilson from Home Improvement. I think Eric Kirk will sue. The suit will likely be large and include the breach of contract, tortious interference, etc. I agree. I think on principle at this point, and just to preserve Charlie's legacy and to preserve TPUSA, I think they have to. I think Candace, unfortunately, is given no other choice, as we've discussed. Gary, love your guest. She's hilarious. I agree. I love Lady Luck too.
Oh, thank you.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what we have at stake at the midterms. And I know you don't like to get too political, but I'm going to twist your arm and make you get political anyhow. What do you see? What do we have at stake in this country?
Well, I think a lot of what, and my headphones have died, so forgive me if you're getting an echo.
Oh, we're good.
Okay, cool. So, I think what we're seeing is the Supreme Court ruling is a huge change. And I agree that, we have three branches of government that exist for a reason. They should exist separate but co-equal in power. When it comes down to the policies that, the president has in place, they need to be for the benefit of the people, for the majority of the people in this country. And it needs to improve our way of life, our quality of life. And I think what you're seeing with these attacks from these people, I don't follow Tucker Carlson like that, but from him and Candace and, Megan, that whole bunch, where they're claiming to be conservative and they're infiltrating this platform, the Republican movement, the, MAGA movement, conservatism. You got all these people that are proclaiming to be this, but they don't uphold the values of what they stand for and what they believe in. So naturally, they go against any policies that, conservatives and Republicans want in place that they fully stand for and support. You got all this opposition because you got all these people infiltrating it and muddying the waters. Yeah. And if you're not careful, you'll have that influence, like Candace, going out to Russia to speak at a forum with Russia. Like, they're a complete enemy of the U.S. What are we doing? They're not allies with them. But yet you see this happening, and the people who are supporting her, are becoming the crowd is getting bigger. The cult is growing and getting bigger. Somehow this disinformation across social media is having some effect. People are willing to go out and risk liberty and freedom to issue a death threat, to carry out a death threat against someone. And they're going to jail. They're willing to risk that. When you see people becoming more frivolous and more reckless, that's going to hurt whatever is going on politically, whatever policies he wants to implement. You're going to have this reckless disregard of it. You're going to have people combating it, not fully thinking about, could this actually, help keep more money in my pocket and lower taxes, or, ensure a better quality of life. They don't think about that. All they want to do is antagonize and attack. And so if you're not careful, you end up having that goal accomplished, because you have some people on YouTube and on social media persuading how people think and perceive the person, but not thinking about the policies, not thinking about what he's actually implementing, and would it be, helpful for Americans overall. They're just attacking because it's coming from Trump, but they're not thinking about, what does this actually mean, for our quality of life? What is this going to look like in 5, 10, 20 years from now? They don't care about that. And so what you end up having at the midterms is people going to the polls, voting based on their emotions and what they've been incited to do, and not necessarily looking at what is being accomplished and what is being upheld, and saying, okay, this is what really, at the end of the day, this is what we need to get behind. They're not going to do that. They're going to just vote on emotions and not based on what's realistic here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and the other thing they've done very successfully, especially the Doomers, and to someone like, we keep talking about the woke right so much, because like, we don't even hear any, or like, I don't hear the Chuck Schumers and the Democrats out there talking a lot of crap about Donald. Like, all they got to do is sit back and let us destroy ourselves, because we hear the woke right. And one thing they've done is they've weaponized people's impatience, right? So it's like, oh, Donald Trump said he was going to do all this, and he's already been in here 18 months. It's like, no, you're using their own system against us, because unlike the Biden administration that's willing to just prosecute anybody without any sort of probable cause, we are a party that believes in the rule of law, and these things actually take time. Whether you're trying to get policy change, whether you're trying to get charges, trying to get indictments, like, those things take time. And if you do them correctly, the way that our Constitution requires, it takes time, and it's going to take more than 18 months. And quite frankly, some of the stuff that we want Trump to act on, and this is including me, like, we're not going to be able to, because guess what? Those were things that were covered up before he got in. Like, that's just a fact, folks. Like, you think that the Biden administration, all the bad actors that were in the Biden administration, in their cabinet, the James Comey, you don't think they were covering their ass as they were leaving office? You don't think that they know how to work this system that makes it hard to prosecute them to begin with, and then be able to get rid of any sort of evidence or obfuscate that evidence to where it really gets tough to bring charges? Like, these people are not dumb. They hate America, and they want us to fail, but they're not dumb. And they've had a lot of time to cover up. And that's my biggest problem with the Epstein files. Like, Donald Trump was the guy that brought the Epstein files forward, and we never heard them griping about that during the Biden administration. He held on to them. We have no idea how those files have been manipulated. We don't know what's been put in there. We don't know what's been taken out. And so far, I haven't seen a single person that can bring up anything out of the Epstein files that would lead to any sort of probable cause or charges. Like, there's a bunch of hearsay and a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of salacious material in there, but nothing worth listening to. But yet all we hear is, well, what about the Epstein files? Well, what about the Epstein files?
And what do you, my whole thing would be, what are we to do now with, even if there's, let's say there's something there, how do we charge that? How do we pursue that in court at this point, where you have the main, antagonist subject here is deceased? What would you want to happen with that? How do you see the courts should move forward if there is something that comes from this. How would that affect, any timely filing for any charges to be pursued? Would it be viable? What I've seen more redactions in those documents than anything. So, for people to harper on that, it's like, what exactly what is the goal? What do you want to come out of this? What is you're expecting to be accomplished here? We can read this stuff all day with redactions or without redactions. Okay, we've read it. And now what? What's next? So
at the end of the day, I don't think that we're going to see any evidence that would lead to any charges under the Constitution. Like, maybe, and that's the problem, is some of these people were like, well, this person's mentioned in the Epstein files, we just need to charge them with something. I mean, that's the desperation. And by the way, folks, it's not talked about enough. John Mappin, he's in the Epstein files.
Yes, he is.
How come we don't hear about that? How come no one's calling for John Mappin to be investigated? How come that's not happening? But it's just, it's been. And here's the thing that pisses me off the most. It's like, okay, we have these Epstein files that go back to the early 2000s. We can't find really any victims that I've seen so far. I mean, there's hearsay of this. We can't find anyone to charge, and you want to say, okay, since you're not doing anything with the Epstein files and you're not going to charge anybody with that, what I want you to do is I want you to vote in the midterms for the Democrats, which, by the way, are the ones that are most complicit in the entire Epstein saga. I want you to vote for them, and I want you to allow our borders to be open so that we can have unfettered child and human trafficking, sex trafficking in this country. So, like, because we can't find, I don't know, let's say there's 500 people that have been abused in the Epstein files, but we can't find a way to charge them, or there's no evidence to charge them. Let's throw that away. I'd rather hold on to that, and then I want 50,000 plus kids to be abused in this country because I'm so upset about this one key issue. I've been tricked. I've been duped because I'm a moron. And I think that's more important than our borders being closed and, tens of thousands of kids being abused right now. That's what they want you to trade those two things for. It's not a good trade-off.
It's not. And I mean, just hearing the argument coming from the ones that keep focusing and harping on that, it's like, yeah, but your uncle gets named in it. Then what? Now you don't want to admit to it. Like, why doesn't Candace say anything about John Mappin being in it? Like, they don't care until it affects them, until they realize, oh crap, I got two cousins in this. No, forget about the Epstein files. It was only my cousin last week. Like, what do you want to happen with this? Like, when it comes down to it, if you try to pursue anything from it into the courts, you got to have a case, you got to have evidence, and then you got to understand there's precedence and case law that's going to affect how these matters are adjudicated. It costs money too. Yeah. These matters cost money. You're talking about criminal charges. So who's the defendants? Like, are they going to be able to be tried? Do they live in America? Are they over in another country? Who are we referring to here? Let's say we wanted to get John Mappin. He's a citizen of the UK. How do you plan on doing that? Like, they don't think rationally through this. If he had some chargeable offense in here, how do we go about doing that? It's going to cost money to get him extradited. We've got to sit here and work out a deal, get him over here, get him charged. All these things that go into play that these people have no idea how this stuff works.
Maybe we'd have time and the resources to investigate the Epstein files if we didn't have 13,000 Americans killed by illegals in 2025 alone. That's 13,000 homicide cases that they have to spend time and resources on. Maybe if we didn't have that problem, and I want them to, maybe if they weren't out there pursuing fraud charges on all these illegal aliens that are using our social systems and social net to, they're stealing millions and millions of dollars on people that shouldn't be here to begin with. So like we got to get our country sealed up. I agree that one of my criticisms for the Trump administration is that we're not deporting fast enough. But guess what? We had I want to say 1.3 million people that were deported in 2025 alone. And most of those were self-deportations. We've never seen anything like that. So we're making progress, and it's more progress than you're ever going to get from a Democrat. Not only are we making progress for the first time in a long time, you get a Democrat in there, folks, they're going to start destroying the country. They're going to undo that progress, and we're going to go back the other way. And that's not what you want, and that doesn't make any sense. These people, all these people are the globalists that have taken, the goal is the same, and that is the destruction of this country, for China to take over. They've just repackaged all these tropes for the right. Let me hit this super chat real quick. Gary, love your guest. She's hilarious. I agree.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much for that super chat, Greg. We appreciate you, buddy. Paramount Tactical asked Lady Luck about the federal judge in Fulton County that was indicting euphemism an officer in chambers. I don't think indicting. Maybe some relations were taking place.
Are you talking about the chief judge in the Superior Court of Fulton County?
Yeah, I don't know.
Indicting an officer in chambers?
Lady Luck, are you in the you in the Atlanta area?
Yeah, I'm in
nice.
Atlanta. Yeah,
that's where when I met my wife, she lived in Norcross. She worked in Norcross. I'm trying to think of where she lived, just outside of Norcross. But yeah, she's from Georgia. Went to UGA. All those good things. Georgia girl.
Yeah, we're trying to get rid of Fannie. Y'all want Fannie Willis? Can Fannie go with you, Candace, to Russia? Take her with you. Fannie's go with Candace to Russia. Bye.
Couldn't agree more.
Oh God, we want to get rid of her so bad. She hired. Can I just vent for a moment about this?
Vent away.
Fannie Willis hired. Fannie Willis hired a judge that was ousted by the JQC. She hired this heifer as a prosecutor. It's bad enough the judge got kicked off the bench unanimously by the JQC. And this judge and I reported on her name is Shamila Williams. Shamila Williams was a Fulton County Superior Court judge, a god-awful one, that was facing over 30 misconduct charges. And the JQC pursued those charges. 3-judge panel unanimously voted to remove her from the bench. Before she could be officially removed, she quit because she's a clown and she should have never been elected to the bench in the first place. And what does Fannie Willis do? Say, oh, yeah, that would be a good prosecutor. What you mean? Of all the people that went to law school, people who actually deserve the right to be prosecutors, you go and get this judge that was ousted and removed from the bench. You can't make this up. No, this heifer should be begging for money for collard greens. I can't believe it. Fannie Willis needs to go with Candace Owens to Russia. And I hope they don't. Both of them can stay their behinds over there. Don't come back. Keep your behind over there. Y'all go over there and entertain each other. Goodbye. You can't make this up. I'm so irritated with Fannie Willis. I'm like, what? You could have hired anyone else. Why would you make that type of selection? Why would you hire her? Why not hire Christina Peterson? You could have given her a job. Like, you got these judges being removed from the bench. And Fannie Willis is like, oh, I don't care. They was kicked off the bench as a judge. Now I want them to be a prosecutor. No, she should have had her bar license revoked. What are we talking about? Fannie Willis, you suck. I want you to know that. And I mean that with love from the bottom of my soul. You suck. And I don't know why you keep getting reelected. You are the absolute worst district attorney that has ever walked this earth known to mankind. You are god awful. And I hope you go with Candace Owens to Russia and don't come back. I hope they detain you for something. Can't make this up. I've never asked for that, but good grief, let that happen, Lord. I had to vent. I'm sorry, I'm done.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. I can't believe this. Is that what we do in this country? we sit here, we have the Judicial Qualifications Commission is set up and designed to hold judges accountable.
Yeah. 3
judges decided, yeah, Shamila Williams got to go. And then Fannie Willis says, now I'm going to hire this corrupt judge right in here to be a prosecutor so she can keep sucking at practicing and upholding the law. What? Get out. Get out. My country. Bye, Fanny. Go with Candace. That's your punishment. You can't make this up. It should give me a headache, man. I'm done. I had to vent. I had to get that out. Oh, my God.
The last thing, well, let me throw this super chat up there. Go Dogs. I'm a South Carolina girl, but UJ dog at heart, hence my scene name. Look at you, girl.
Go Dogs.
The one thing I want to ask you too is one of the most effective tools that has seemed to divide the right, or at least, and again, I always go back and forth. Is this perception that they've created on X and other social media, or is this working? And I think it's a little bit of both. I think the volume looks bigger than it actually is, but they've been able to use effectively this anti-Israel, anti-Jew, Zionist. You're a Zionist. Like, why do you think that's been so effective?
I think that just kind of taps into some level of deep-seated hatred and racism. I mean, you have, a group of individuals that have experienced this throughout time, in the past, and it's just more so tapping into that. Other than that, it's all about make these group of people look and sound the worst of the worst of the worst. And if you can get that message loud and clear and it becomes effective, then, and then if you sit and say, God has blessed and chosen a group of people based on their bloodline, ethnicity, or because they are born again Christians, and you go and you attack that, that's what the enemy wants, right? That's what the devil wants. He wants you to go in attacking the very heart of what, as far as what Christ has charged us to be as Christians. He wants that attacked. It's our faith, and that relationship with Christ. If you can get to the heart of that, if the enemy can go in and attack that, even if it is by making you as a believer look and sound like the worst person walking the earth, that message now is amplified by this act of evil. And sometimes people don't fully understand it. That's, the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principality and powers, rulers of the darkness. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And when that message is carried out, Satan has no prospective person on whom he chooses to use, just like God. God is not picky. He look how he used David and Solomon. Look how he chose Jacob and Job. Look how he used those people in the Word of God.
Yeah.
These weren't rich men. Like, they became a couple of them became wealthy. Solomon became very wealthy, but
they weren't saints either.
They weren't the perfect, picture of perfection. They just weren't. They had flaws and fallacies and sin. Yeah. David took a man out by putting him on the front line.
Boy, your wife looks good.
Yeah, we might want to put that dude on the front line. I don't want him to come back home. Do you get what I'm saying? Wink, wink. Like that. David did that. So but these are the people that God chose for a reason.
Yeah.
And the devil, he does the same thing. He doesn't care who he's using. He's gonna use you. If you're willing to be used by the enemy, Candace, and then he's gonna keep using you. And because she has this platform for such a time as this, until she comes down off that throne that the devil put her up on, he's going to keep using her, and she's going to keep getting that attention from other people who want to carry out and amplify this evil message and facilitate, this evil act of attacking people, because God has to protect. God has us blessed. God has us covered. Because we choose to follow the Word of God, because we choose to be Christian, the enemy is always going to be attacking. And the way he does it, we might not understand it. We might not see it right away, but it's the devil operates outside the box too. And we that's the thing. Once we realize this is the enemy working, this is the enemy using this person to do this, now we know how to fight back. We know we got to pray and we got to stay prayed up and we got to get that protection and covering of God over us. But we also have, laws of the land we have to obey. Step out of line with that. There's another resolution God has given us and afforded us here on earth. The laws of the land. Either you obey them or you don't. And if you don't, there's a legal liability. There's a consequence for that. But the devil is of no prospective person. He'll use Candace just like he used Hitler and anyone else that was evil.
Yeah.
He's not picky.
Well, and you touched on something that I never really thought about as far as the anti-Semitic angle. You said, you have these people claiming they're God's chosen people. And we see this with non-believers against Christians too. The reason that socialism is such an attractive, or why people are so convinced that it's a good idea, is because it's an easy thing to use our own weakness against us. And one of the things that all of us are the weakest at is we get jealous real easy. We have jealousy and resentment. And that was the first time that I've thought about that when you said that. It's like when you have a people that are like, hey, I'm holy and I am part of God's chosen people, which clearly the Bible highlights that Jews are, whether you like it or not. And Christians do the same thing. That's one of the reasons that the secularists hate Christians. Like, you think you're better than me? And that's what's always used against Christians, but that's not what we think. That's you characterizing what I believe. I believe that I'm as bad or worse than you, but by the blood of Christ, I am saved.
Amen.
And that's the difference. I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect, but I have a relationship with God, and I am tapping into the sacrifice that Jesus gave to us on the cross. Like that's the only difference.
Yep.
And the same thing, I think, going back in time, we can look at, Jews have been persecuted for thousands of years. And I think that is part of it. And why it's so easy to go after the Jews. It's like, oh, you think you're holy. Oh, you think you know God. Oh, you think, oh, you're Jewish. You think you have a relationship with God. Well, you guys killed Jesus. Well, yeah, you also were fulfilling the prophecy. Like, that was part of the plan. Like, should be saying thank you for killing Jesus. And by the way, the Romans had a hand in it too, but I don't see us ever going after the Italians. But that is like our biggest vulnerability as people. It's easy to say. That's why socialism works. Like, look at that rich guy. You're just as good as he is. Never mind that you haven't done all the work that he's done. Never mind that all the good things that person is doing with their money. They're paying taxes. They're creating jobs. They're doing all this stuff. Never mind that you've never created anything, but you should have all the same things. And that is easy to tap into the human spirit. It really goes back to the Cain and Abel, right? It's like, look at, like, your sacrifice was just as good, but yet he's blessed by God and you're not. When in reality, it wasn't. It wasn't acceptable. And we don't even really know why it wasn't acceptable. But the fact is like, clearly Cain half-assed it. All right. That's what happened. And and now he's jealous of his relationship, of Abel's relationship with God, the fact that God blessed him because he didn't put in the work that Abel did. He didn't carve that time out or whatever it was. But I think that is something that is so innate in us. We get jealous so easy. And I've been there. I'm sure you've been there. People get jealous over the dumbest things. Like, oh, look at that person. They're skinnier than me. That person's better looking than me. They have more stuff than me. Whatever it is, like that is at our core, our biggest vulnerability. And I think that really does tap into at least one of the main things that as to why people hate Jews the way that they do. And by the way, we look at apparently 0.2% of the world's population controls the world and controls the United States. Man, they're doing something right, I guess. Like, when you look at Jews, they are disproportionately successful. And why is that? Is because they're following biblical principles. And that is, like, they maintain a two-parent household. They study, they do all the things that just lead to success. And guess what? You can do all those things too. I don't care where you come from. I don't care like what your circumstances are. There are people that have had 10 times worse circumstances, that have 10 times the things going against them, and they're more successful than you and a lot of other people out there. You could do it too, but you're going to sit around and complain and sit around and be jealous. Be like, that millionaire should give me some money. That's
it comes down to that. It's the envy as one of those deadly sins, right? Envy is it's like the entry point to creating that hatred, that animus.
Yeah.
And then that drives people to want to act upon that hatred and that animus, and to go out and to, do harm upon others, because we're so envious of them. We come, engulfed with that, as opposed to saying, okay, God, what is my purpose? And what should I be doing? And how can I be used to do what it is God wants me to do? I'm not meant to go down this lane, but God wants me to go down this lane. So how can I do that and be blessed doing it in the way God wants me to be blessed? My blessing is not meant to be someone else's. My story is not meant to be the same as someone else. Candace can go out here and get all these 6 million, cult members. Most of them are bots. I don't want that. I will never be envious and jealous of that.
Nope.
I want God to take me down the path He's taking me down, because my blessing at the end of that is going to be tailored for me.
Yeah.
And it will be a testament to what I had to go through to get to that point. Candace will never understand that. She just envies her way into situations and wants people to feel bad for her along the way. She wants to invoke the emotions of people. And that's what envy does too. It riles you up, emotionally. If you can sit back and loathe and be upset and angry at someone having something, now you're invoked emotionally to feel a certain way. And then mentally you see them in a certain manner. That's all she does. But when that fades away, what do you have? You still have a person lost without a cause, not fully understanding their own purpose, probably not asking God to show them their purpose.
Yeah.
And then they've wasted all this time emoting out all these emotions and being envious and jealous of someone simply because their cult leader said to be so. Not ever understanding why. And what did that accomplish them? What did that get them? Candace may have got that 56 million, but like you said, I hope that a judge says, well, that money you think you earned, you got to give it up now to this petitioner, because you defamed them. You didn't earn it, rightfully so. You got that money because you lied on them, because you sat here and allowed that envy to engulf you to the point where you were willing to waste time and energy, pre-record and pre-script shows to show the world how jealous and envious you are of Erica Kirk.
Well,
and then what did they get you? You're going to lose all this money.
Yeah, no, I we've all joked about that, but I really do think there's at the core element of what motivates Candace is that she will never be Erica Kirk, and George will never be Charlie Kirk.
Exactly.
And I do think there's something extremely, like, at the core of her, she is jealous and insecure. I really do believe that. And you're right. Like, you can look, evil pays. You can do things like Candace is doing, some of these other grifters is doing. It pays, but it's very short.
Yeah.
Very short term. It will catch up with you. And if not in this life, until you get through to the end of your days, it'll catch up in the next life. And it is a shame. It's a shame that she does have 6 million viewers and she's not doing something good with it. I've told that to Project Constitution. I'm like, dude, you got 250,000 or whatever it is on Twitter. You could be doing so much good, and you decide that you want to stay with this lowbrow drivel and just lie to people. Like, all of these people that have these large audiences and talents, like, let's not pretend that as much as we make fun of them, Project Constitution clearly is talented at getting clicks and views. He could be using that in so many different ways. And the same thing with Baron Coleman and Candace Owens and Ian Carroll and all these people. But they decide to spread hate, division, and destruction. And that's what they're doing with their talents and what everything that God blessed them with. They're just throwing it away. Throwing away and using it for evil.
Yeah. So, it comes down to the objective of the enemy is to steal, kill, and destroy.
Yeah.
And however the enemy wants to achieve that goal and carry out that objective, and whomever he chooses to use, he will. And if someone decides to allow themselves to be used by the enemy to do that, to aid in killing, stealing, and destroying, not just on a physical level, but spiritually, financially, morally, mentally, they'll do that. And what will it get them at the end of the day? A lawsuit where they'll lose everything. So Candace got a hard lesson, and I just use her as an example because we all can see that she is very envious of Erica Kirk.
Yeah.
But she amplifies that message out against others as well. For her to start this whole thing off after Charlie Kirk was assassinated was saying that Israel was behind it. It was like, okay, of all the countries on earth to pick, you picked this one. Obviously, you wanted them to be a target for a while.
Yeah.
And now you felt here's an opening to now, once again, ostracize and attack them with something you can't prove in a court of law. And the worst thing is that, when Benjamin Netanyahu showed that full letter, it showed that he was listening to her. What he should not have done was responded. You want this letter, get it and then post it up, and then you talk about it. Otherwise, I owe you nothing.
Yeah.
He's a leader of a state. He doesn't have to give her any attention. Like he's, go lead your people, go lead your country. Don't worry about what some podcaster in the U.S. is saying. And until she does something where you have to sue her, don't give her the, because that's what she wants. And it's been ramped up ever since. And now, of all countries, Israel did it. It's like, are you kidding me? Based on what evidence? Like, this wouldn't work in a court of law. Yeah. So this is the one place she can do it is in a court of public opinion. And then it gets out of hand and out of control. And now look where it's headed. Because she knows at some point I can't keep saying that without evidence.
I love watching her crash out. I mean, she is just falling apart because TPUSA won't give her that video. And I mean, she is just like, they won't give it to me. All they gotta do is give it to me. Just give it to me. And I love that they're just out there, and you got Blake Neff out there just trolling her like, no, you're not getting the video. Don't you wish you had the video?
You want this, Candace? Is what you want.
I'm seeing him troll her and hit her, and I love the fact that Erica Kirk is now punching back a little bit too. Tammy McDonald says, "What does she think about the corruption in Fulton County? The stolen election of, I guess, i.e., the stolen election of 2020."
I don't like corruption. Period. I keep saying I want Danny Willis to get the heck on somewhere and kick rocks. God. I don't like corruption. Even being apolitical, I can't stand when corruption in any sector of government. I don't do, from judicial to the executive to the legislative. I can't stand it. If we can't say that our votes are secure, and you can't promise us, a secured election, process where we don't have to worry about where votes are disappearing to, then no. I mean, you're not winning the trust of the public. How do we feel that we have the right to vote and we're exercising it properly if we can't confirm that our votes have made it to where they should be going, at the end of the day? Honestly, I think all of that should be electronic. I mean, good grief. Why are we still dealing with paper ballots? But, I don't like it. I don't like when there are questions that are not answered, when you can't show and prove everything that's going on. Put cameras over these booths if you have to. I don't care, but do what you need to do to help the public feel more safe and secure when they're going to the polls, that they're voting and that their vote actually counts. If you cannot, as an elected official, assure that you're doing anything to make strides to improve that process, I'm not voting for you. It's that simple. So as we come down, now we got this girl Tiffany Hinya down here trying to run for some. Girl, bye.
Well, I think that's part of the point, is that they want to demoralize people and make you feel like, and it's true, I don't think that our elections are secure. The other thing that we have to do to secure our election and secure our country is not only make sure that we have some sort of, voter integrity and voter ID laws.
Exactly.
But the other thing that we need is we've got to have some sort of, like, we the people, and this is not a function of government, but this is what I've been talking about. Like, we also have to fight back against lies and propaganda, because that's makes our elections just as insecure. When you have people out there that are convincing people, Donald Trump's a pedophile or whatever it is, like, those are going to sway voters. And if they knew the truth, they would vote completely different. So that is just as important. Information security is tied right into election security. And the only way to do that, because I don't want the government stepping in, I don't want Facebook and X and everybody else stepping in. The only way that we do that is we have an overwhelming amount of people that are dedicated to the truth and not narrative. And unfortunately, that's one of our biggest challenges right now. South Carolina dog fan said the Lord used crackhead hunter to put Candace.
Two crackheads had an interview. I knew we had to put up a thumbnail on that one.
Ginseng 7243. Gary, I am so impressed by your military service. Thank you for serving. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for serving, honey.
And I saved this one for last. As we kind of close things down, I think this is a great one to close on. It says, Lady Luck is hilarious. Best line ever. We don't want Big Fanny and Nathan in her cash. I'll never forget her unhinged on the witness stand with her dress on backwards.
I know.
What about that?
Oh, so embarrassing. Oh my God. I was like, you know what? Jay Wick called me. He was like, did you see this hearing? I was like, dude, you know I'm gonna have a headache if I watch it. Oh, she pisses him off so good. But she is infuriating. She is infuriating. She is the epitome of, and she represents that what you said with the information security that we need. You have voters that actually believe that she's a good choice. How? Based on what? This woman is a hired and ousted judge. She's been caught up in this nonsense with her boyfriend. She has mismanaged money. What are we doing? She has done what's considered malicious prosecution in many other cases. You going after somebody and pursuing someone to the point to where you're making this more personal than litigious. You don't have a case, but you're still going in and spending all this money on YSL and the president. What are you doing? When you lose focus of what you're supposed to be pursuing as a prosecutor, any judge should have said, all right, that's enough of this. You can go sit down somewhere. Go have a seat, girl. Go read a book. Bye. Bye, Felicia. But you keep going at it. And then because our courts are designed to allow prosecutors to bring matters to the court in good faith, it just kept coming back, and it's like a plague. You don't care that it's costing us millions of dollars? Like, do you not care about that? But see, when she doesn't have an issue paying her mortgage, of course she doesn't. When she's sitting out here whining and dining her boo thing, she care less. It only affects them when they get caught, it seems like. And we're sick of it. And now you got Tiffany here down here. Man, listen. We're so beyond the whole corrupt, and you're absolutely right. People have to get in front of it. Unfortunately, and I'll use my videos on Shamila Williams as an example. The views on those were so incredibly low. But I'm talking about a corrupt judge who has just now been hired by Fannie Willis to be a prosecutor in Fulton County. Fulton County voters aren't seeing that content. They're not seeing that information. They're not seeing the court documents where this woman should lose her bar license and be disbarred, not be hired as a prosecutor. But corruption breeds corruption. You have a corrupt DA that hired a corrupt former judge, removed from the bench for over 30 misconduct charges, and is now serving as a prosecutor. And people keep voting for Fannie Willis. We're not attacking her. We want her to go because she's corrupt, because she's not doing anything of value and being of any benefit to Fulton County. She just isn't. She's costing us money in expensive cases that she's completely lost the plot in. There's no objective goal in this at all. Why are you bringing these charges to the court? You could be bringing forth real cases where people who should be in prison should be going to prison. No, you want to sit here and harp on dumb things that are costing us millions of dollars. And for what? What is the end goal here?
Well,
And
the
the
end
Supreme
goal is
Court is asking that she's just getting reelected, and this is irritating. But
it's rage baiting for votes, right? It's like, don't pay attention to me. I want to get you all mad, and I want you to get mad at the system so that I can preserve my position, so I can continue to do the corrupt things that I'm doing. That's and then there's a lot of people, that's what we see in California, like we see with Karen Bass, we see with me. Like, I mean, it is just these people. We see it in Congress. When these people go into Congress, they're worth nothing, and a few years later, they're worth millions of dollars. It's just corruption, and it's not something that's going to be fixed overnight, and it sure as hell ain't going to be fixed if we lose the midterms and put the Democrats back in power. Which, again, Republicans are corrupt too, but where we see the vast majority of corruption, whether you're looking at Minnesota, California, wherever it is, we see people just conducting themselves in a way that is self-enriching, that is taking advantage of voters, that is stealing tax dollars, that is selling our country down the river. And they want to. They're getting rich and they hate this country. That's what it comes down to. And we got to change that. I don't know that we'll figure it out tonight. But listen, this has been so much fun. We're 2.5 hours into this, and it feels like it's been 30 minutes. But we definitely need to get you back on soon, and we will definitely do that. I've enjoyed this conversation. Leave us with your final words, Lady Luck.
Well, y'all, Candace, you got court June 22nd at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, not Utah time, you dumb alien. And we really hope that when you go to Russia, please, by all means, do us a favor and keep your dumb ass over there. We don't want you to come back, girl. Erica Kirk, please file a protection order against her.
She might be able to save some money. She stays over there. I would love if she came back for the court cases and then went right back. I'm fine with that too. Well,
Don't make us have to drag you over here for court, girl. No, go to court. Well, no, you can live there. Russia, she's all yours.
Keep her. She'll be destroying that country before you know it too, and she'll end up in prison and tortured. Well, listen, folks, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Lady Luck, I've enjoyed this immensely. We'll do it again soon, and thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all go follow Lady Luck. All her links are down in the description. If you're not following us on X and our other social media platforms, make sure you're following it. You might be watching on X right now. I don't know, but we appreciate your support. And the best thing that you can do for us is share our content, folks. Yes. We love the super chats. We love that you like, subscribe, and you come to every show. Share our content. Just like Lady Luck says, we're putting out good information, and when we don't get views, that's why people resort to the salacious and the sensational and the lies, because truth isn't always as fun, but it's important. It's the only thing that really matters at the end of the day. So thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you go support Lady Luck. Lady Luck, you don't go anywhere. And by the way, folks, we are going to be doing a show with Ryan Morrow. I'm making the call at 10 a.m. tomorrow. 10 a.m. or do we say 11 a.m. Jen?
11
a.m. tomorrow. We'll do it with Ryan Morrow. You're going to hear more about what's going on with Candace and what she's doing in Russia. We'll get that up, so make sure that you go and set yourself an alert. Lady Luck, stay there. But for everybody else, thank you for tuning in. And until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.